Good evening everyone, and welcome to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV for the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. We're here on the oval tonight, Twin Ring Motegi, for races 28 to 31 of the season. After tonight's race meeting, there'll just be over 100 races to go, so still plenty of action to look forward to. Well, good evening everyone, I'm Adam Bath, and alongside me once again is iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series driver Alex Simpson. And Alex, not the first time we've been on an oval this season. The last time we were here was on the oval was at Phoenix, but now we're at Twin Ring Motegi, and it's a bit of a good oval because turns 1 and 2 are completely different to turns 3 and 4 as well, so it should be a good evening's racing.
Yeah, exactly that. Very unique oval, so pretty wide open turns 1 through 2, and then 3 and 4 very much so a lot tighter, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the drivers. What I will say is that we've been here plenty of times before, so setups wouldn't have changed a great deal. Would have thought maybe some pressure adjustments, that's about it. So there's guys who were pretty quick the last time we were here, and they seem to be quick again. So of course, Twin Ring Motegi, not only an oval circuit, we were just getting some shots there of the road course as well. So one of only a few tracks really that sort of stand out as having a great road circuit as well as an oval track.
Yeah, and it doesn't use any of the oval at all, does the road course circuit. It goes underneath it twice during the lap. We're racing, on the oval tonight. Running through the championship standings, going into round 28, Wojciech Savidovic for Sim Racer leads Michael Schellbach by 47 points. It's worth noting that Michael Schellbach will be serving a back-of-the-grid penalty for this opening race of the evening. Alex Smolenski's in third for Sim Racer, with Simon Field in fourth. Zdeněk Čepelevský also serving a back-of-the-grid penalty tonight for APEXRACING, so he's in fifth in the championship. Richard Gore's in sixth, Ross Balfour in seventh, Colin Cunniff in eighth, Jamie Rushworth in ninth, and Ben Hackerson rounding out the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship. Over in the Pro-Am standings, Paul Smith leads Nick McCarron by 59 points, Roy Ververke in third, Jay Wright in fourth, and Laura Bond in fifth after a good race meeting at Barber. And finally, over in the Teams Championship, it is very close. Apex Racing leading Alphalatech by just 1 point. And if you think that's close, it's even closer with the top three. Friction Racing in third, 4 points behind Apex Racing and only 3 behind Alphalatech. I think that's the closest I've ever seen the Teams Championship in my time covering the series. Looking at the safest driver as well, Ashley Blake Hood leads the standings there with an average of 1.5 incidents a race, and that is quite good considering the nature of this championship. Michal Sakovic in second, Roy Ververke in third. But Alex, very close in the Teams Championship. That's one thing we've picked out tonight. Apex Racing, Alphalatech and Friction Racing only separated by just 4 points.
Yeah, I'm glad to, I'm not going to shy away, I'm glad to see Apex back up there. Of course, they were missing their main driver for a little while. I should say that I shouldn't really say their main driver, because Richard's been the standout this season, but of course Jamie, he's back, he's got his system and everything all sorted now, so back in the car for the rest of the season, which will be great. But yeah, 4 points, top 3, you're right, I don't think I've ever seen it that close, so it's getting juicy. And also it'll help with the fact that Sebastian Joe, reigning series champion, is back for the team on a reserve basis. No, Andrew Woodhouse, you'll have noticed tonight, his voice continues to ail him in some way. I'm sure he'll be back in a few weeks time once he's had a proper medical checkup. But yeah, qualifying at the moment, we've just got over 2 minutes left. We'll run you through the provisional top 10. David Baker won here last season, and it was probably one of his only wins in the Pro Series. He's currently on provisional pole. Colin Cunniff, second place, 21st in practice, and 0.2 of a second quicker in qualifying has leapt him up to the front row at the moment. Kip Stevens in third, Nathaniel Simpson fourth, Simon Field in fifth, Michael Hall 6th, Jamie Fluke, as Alex was saying, for Apex Racing in 7th, 8th Jamie Rushworth, 9th George Simmons, and then rounding out the top 10, Richard Gore. A few other notables. Ray Alfala is back. He was racing with us on the Phoenix Oval, came close to a race win on some occasions, just got involved in a bit of contact during the races. He's currently lining up in 18th place, and of course we've got those back of the grid penalties for the likes of Chepelevský, and Savidovic, interestingly, hasn't set a lap time either. He was 10th in practice and the championship leader with just under 90 seconds to go in qualifying. Still hasn't set a lap time, so that might be another penalty for Savidovic. Either that, or he might have had an incident on his out lap, and with the one car rule, that is his qualifying over and done with. So we've got the 1 and 2 in the championship at the moment at the back. Yeah, it's always going to make it interesting. Just saw Simon Field smash into the wall heavily there as well, so that lap won't count, and any chance he would have to get another one in, well, that's going to be gone because it's guaranteed to have had some damage based on that here.
Reminder that we've got 4 races tonight, 24 laps each. We start in the sunrise conditions, and I wonder if for the 4th race we might have it under the lights, which we have done in the past in the championship. See if we're doing it tonight. David Baker then for Race Hub with CQR. They had a good start to the season, did this team up at Phillip Island, and they had a good race meeting at Barber as well, with Ashley Sutton taking a win really from out of nothing. A crash between the 2 sim racer cars on the final lap with a little bit of help from Stelian Chepelevsky allows Sutton through to take a victory for Race Hub with CQR there. David Baker hasn't had the best of seasons, languishing down the order there in 27th position in the championship. This what looks like pole position for him is definitely going to do him a world of good and hopefully start a run of form for him, because he needs to do that. He wants to have a shot at getting in the showdown.
Yeah, he's gonna need something. Doesn't want to get in for a wild card because, you know, Baker, I don't think he'll mind me saying this, he's you know, we're not accustomed to see him right at the very top of that podium, so he's not going to pick up lots and lots of wins, and I'm sure wildcard spots are going to have sort of 6-7 wins. David's all about his consistency, so been very unlucky and just caught up in incidents really that haven't been any of his doing this season, and I think it's got him down a little bit. I've seen you know, some comments and posts and things like that. Just seems to have hit his motivation just a little bit, so needs a good race week today, and hopefully that'll give him the boost just to push back on. But we've seen other drivers with David's sort of class come through towards the end of the season, so, and I'm sure he'll be right up there in the top 10 come the end.
Qualifying's over, we're going to go down to the grid, and we will almost be ready for the start of the race. It is, of course, an oval, so we will be doing a rolling start for this race. The safety car will lead them round for a lap and then peel in, and then we will get the green flag and we will be underway. David Baker then on pole position for race 28 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Colin Cunniff alongside him on the front row. Jamie Fluke is in 3rd, Kip Stevens in 4th, Nathaniel Simpson in 5th, Ben Hackerson up there for Eclectic Motorsport. Good qualifying from him. Alex Smolensky in 7th, who was leading the entirety of race 3 at Barber before getting taken out by that contact with Chepelevsky and his teammates. Simon Field in 8th, Michael Hall 9th, Jamie Rushworth in 10th, 11th George Simmons with Richard Gore 12th, Ross Balfour 13th, Daniel Kraft in 14th, Paul Smith, who absolutely hates racing on this oval here in Twin Ring Motegi after his past experiences in the Pro Series and the Winter Series, lines up in 15th. Nick McCarron is in 16th, Pete Newman 17th, 18th for NASCAR Peak Anti-Freeze Series champion Ray Alfala, 19th Russell Laidler and Jack McIntyre in 20th. Dan Hunt lines up in 21st, 22nd for Liam Atkins, 23rd for Craig Evans, Scott Malcolm in 24th, 2 Automech teammates there alongside each other. Mark Johnston in 25th, Lee Berridge 26th, Roy Ververke in 27th, Pete Harrod, Kia Club Series driver there in 28th, Andrew Whitehead 29th and Philip Johansson 30th. 31st is Jay Wright, and then we've got a whole load of cars that haven't set a time, and some of these guys will be starting from the pit lane as well. We've got championship leader Wojciech Savilovic starting 32nd on the grid, Julian Janowski, Stelian Chepelevsky in 34th, John Roberts 35th, Rob Graham 36th, Nathan Davis, who was at his first BSRTC meeting at Barber last week, starts in 37th, 38th for Steve Hefford, 39th for Alex Everett, Ashley Sutton, BTCC driver for MG in 40th, Stuart Atkinson 41st, and Cesario Rizzo in 42nd, and the cars that will be starting in the pit lane will be Steve Hefford, Wojciech Savilovic, and Alex Everett, and Rob Graham as well, as the safety car leads them away, Alex.
Yeah, just the one pace lap, everybody in the pit lane at the moment, just circling their way, or cycling their way out, shall we say, sorry? I think the start's going to be all important, that first lap, get everybody through. It's usually what we see, but there'll be a lot of fierce battles here, and there's often quite a big crash somewhere in the middle of the race as everybody realise actually it's getting a bit towards the business end. So I think we've got to keep our eyes peeled. Something's going to happen in this race for sure. I'm just feel it in the bones.
And usually we point to race 4 for where all the contact and excitement happens. Trust me, we always have 4 thrilling races here at Twin Ring Motegi. 2.4 kilometers, running through the temperatures as well. 21 degrees, it's a clear sunrise morning here in Japan. Track temperature 27 degrees and an 8-kilometer wind coming from the east. 11 incidents, of course. If the drivers pick up more than that, they will get disqualified. Drivers will not be wanting to do that here tonight then. David Baker, Colin Cunniff, the front row of the grid here. And when the safety car comes into the pit lane in just a few moments' time, which it has done now, we will be getting underway. Off of turn 4 they go, and race 28 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. David Baker's got a great start straight away. Jamie Fluke as well, getting past Colin Cunniff, who was caught napping there right from the get-go. He's already lost second position down to third. And now through turns 1 and 2, completely different of course to turns 3 and 4, which we'll be approaching in a moment, and on their way down the back straight for the first time.
You know, David did exactly the a few guys starting from the pits as well. They're almost going to be a lap down. Steve Hefford, Rob Graham, Svidovic, so definitely penalties for those. But yeah, it was absolutely the right thing for Baker to do. He launched it pretty early. That really strung the pack out going into turn 1, and everybody cycled through nicely. So yeah, great start from David.
And the last car leaving the pit lane now, Rob Graham, and they're all getting lapped. Steve Hefford's getting lapped. We'll see if anyone else is. Wojciech Svidovic for Sim Racers getting laps. So, and they can't hope for a safety car either, because we do have them disabled here due to the fact that if we did have one car spinning, the safety car would be automatically thrown. But anyway, here's the battle for the lead. Jamie Fluke versus David Baker. Baker on the inside, Jamie Fluke on the outside. Colin Cunniff trying to get in the mix as well after that poor start. Ben Hackerson's had a great start. He's up to 4th place as well. Off of turn 4 then. Fluke has the run on the outside, but Baker will come across the line and surely lead lap 2. Across the line we go. The gap at the line was 37 thousandths, and it was in Baker's favour. Look at that though, 2 by 2 into turn 1. We're going to see plenty of this tonight. Ben Hackerson going for the lead as well. Now we're going to see the run off of turn 2. Fluke on the outside, but Baker will have the initial run. But watch Fluke now swoop by on the runs down to turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, I just thought for a minute Hackerson perhaps maybe going to try and sort of open something up, make it 3 wide. Looked like he had a good run. Colin as well, just on the outside being very patient. He had a little look earlier on, but nothing coming of that as well. Kip Stevens in 5th place, just sort of worked his way clear, so he's free to join this pack. We've got Nathaniel Simpson behind him. Bolo Smolenski is just having a look up the inside to join his sim racer teammate there, so they're going to have 5th and 6th place.
Jimmy Rushworth also is in the mix there with one of the Simpson Racing cars. Simpson Racing well represented inside the top 10 here tonight. Same for Sim Racer. We've got Alex Smolenski and Kip Stevens going at it. 3 wide almost into turns 3 and 4. And Nathaniel Simpson has to get out there onto the marbles. They're on too many there.
Jamie was all out of shape there. Massive correction there. Somehow he manages to keep the car pointing forward. I think it was Simon Field who was very much on his toes, wide awake, saw that Rushworth was just sliding through turns 3 and 4 there, and give Jamie just that little bit of extra room that he needed to avoid any kind of major collision.
I think Baker was just going at it with the brakes, trying to not run into the back of that Sim Racer car, and unfortunately the car got away from him. Meanwhile, back at the front, they're still going at it. Fluke's been working the outside line now for the good few laps, and eventually it's just starting to give him the advantage over David Baker. Baker's still trying to hold on to that inside line and try and hold on, but I think this is going to be the second lap that Jamie Fluke's going to lead. He led by 7 thousandths of a second at the line last time around. He's got 700ths of a second advantage now as we're on to lap 6. Colin Cunniff now trying to work his way past David Baker. Rounds turn 1 and turn 2. Ben Hackerson there keeping a watchful eye as well. Starts at 6th up to 4th. Then it is Alex Smolenski, Kip Stevens, Simon Field running very close to that outside wall. Same for Jamie Rushworth, then Nathaniel Simpson, and then 2 by 2 behind them. Ray Alfala, NASCAR Peak Anti-Freeze Series champion, going at it with the other Eclectic Motorsports car there of George Simmons. So Eclectic Motorsport, both cars inside the top 10, or trying to get inside the top 10 I should say. And I don't know whether that Simpson Racing car there of Simon Fields might have hit the wall on the exit of turn 4, but he looks very close to it. And as the tyre wear continues to be a factor during this race, we could see cars getting further and further wide on the exit of turn 2 and turn 4.
I think Ray's moved up 9 places already, so not the best of qualifying from him, but started to make that car work now. got a little bit of time to catch up to the pack ahead, and I can see him doing that fairly quickly. Good little battle going on between Simon Field, Jamie Rushworth, Nathaniel Simpson just ahead as well. They're all shifting round. Rushworth, of course, trying to make his way back up after the little sideways moment that he had. And I think Colin Cunniff just about edged into second place going across the start-finish line that time. He's trying to clear Baker around the high line. It's difficult, struggling to do it. I remember it took Jamie about 5 or 6 laps to do it, and he just needs to sort of time it right. But of course now, what he
I hear crash.
Yeah, something going off back. Russell Laidler, I think that is, in the Alpha Tech there. Let's take a replay back, see what that was, because
Ross Balfour on his roof as well. It was the two of them coming together, and we've seen it so many times here, Alex. It's the exit of turn 2. The cars get stuck together, and off up the racetrack they go, and into orbit they fly.
Yeah, just having a little look. You're right, exactly that. Ross, jeez. Yeah, Ross long gone. And it's unfortunate when that happens. But Ross alluded to the fact last week, didn't he, in the interviews, that he wasn't necessarily looking forward to this one. Baker fighting back, and Fluke gets a little bit out of shape going through turns 3 there, and not quite going to get the run. So I think Baker's going to have the lead as he crosses this time, and I think Smolinski wants a little piece of this action as well.
Yeah, Baker back to the lead, 29 thousandths he was ahead of Jamie Fluke, and now it's really pick your line. We've got 2 lines here, 2 by 2 almost, through turns 1 and 2. We're on lap 10 of 24. Off of turn 2 we go. Colin Cunniff now trying to forge a way through. We could be free wide. We are free wide for the first time tonight, down the straight towards turns 3 and 4. Colin Cunniff's surely going to get out of it. He's going to force the car through the middle. That's so close there in race 1 here. Jamie Rushworth trying to get involved in the action as well. Rushworth up to 5th, and off of turn 4 we go. We could be free wide, 2 deep here across the line. Who's leading the lap this time? It was Jamie Fluke by 1.5 tenths, and he's clear of all of them. So he got a great run off of turn 4. And now Colin Cunniff's back across past David Baker, and if Baker's not too careful, he'll allow the Collecting Motorsports car of Hackerson through, and his teammate Jamie Rushworth free wide again off of turn 2. So close between teammates. Who's going to get the position into turns 3 and 4? Jamie Rushworth going through the middle. Looks like he might have got it here. So close to Hackerson though.
Hackerson just gets a little nerf out wide. That's really going to affect his run off the corner, but again, he's 3 wide. I think that's Simon Field next to him as well. So yeah, this race really starting to hot up. They're all battling, and Fluke's just breaking away just a little bit. I'm sure they can reel him in as soon as they settle back down behind.
Yeah, look, when it looks like you're away, Twin Ring Motegi all of a sudden closes in with a few laps to go. Fluke's lead, the biggest of the race so far, 0.3 of a second. But once we see here, you may run 3 wide into the corners, but on the exit it does filter down to almost 2 lanes, and that's where we see the crashes sometimes happen on the exit of the final corner going down the front straight.
Who's up to 4th place?
Guess who? Yes, Rahal Fowler.
Yeah, he's been working his magic slowly but surely up to 4th, so great drive so far. Definitely knows what he's doing out there. It's a totally different beast to drive, but he knows this circuit well and knows how to work everybody on these ovals.
Lap times may not be as important here on the oval as they are on the road courses, but Rahal Fowler's lap times have been pretty good. 38.6 last time around. Now he's trying to close into this lead trio, which continues to battle. Fluke, as we said, looked like he had a lead, but not for much longer. Baker back coming down the inside off a turn 4, but as we have seen so far tonight, Fluke is committed to that outside line, but Colin Cunniff's just trying to nudge him just a bit there down the front straight, the gap of the line. 69 thousandths of a second. Jamie Rushworth, actually, it's not David Baker, I do apologise, it's Jamie Rushworth now leading for Race Hub. So we've now got a different Race Hub car at the front. Jamie Rushworth now trying to take the win for the team. David Baker now in 5th place. Fluke coming back on the outside down the back straight on lap 14, just over 10 laps to go. David Baker now trying to go with his teammate down the inside of car 24, Rahal Fowler. And I hear contact in the background. I don't know who it is. It might be Simon Field. He's dropped down to 14th. It's McIntyre.
McIntyre out. Let's take a quick look, see what that was all about as well.
He was in 13th place at the time, the Spicer Hart car. It's not gone well for him. On the entry into turn 4, it is contact with the Simpson racing car, and it is Simon Field. And they get stuck together, and they both get spoiled. McIntyre goes for a ride, but Simon Field's luckily able to carry on with not too much damage to the car.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the car again. Is it strikes back when your flank is exposed a little bit like that in this car. You've got to be so careful, and I have to say it like that because it's pretty much like death if someone hits you there. Rushworth to the lead then while we've been away. Fluke having a little look on Baker, trying to make it. Well, he does make it 3 wide through the corner, and he'll retake the lead. Rushworth leaves enough room that so his teammate can just bleed out a little bit further, and they're all going to have very different exits off of that corner there, and it could be anyone's as they go across the start-finish line, but I think Rushworth's got it. Yeah,
look at this. We've got Rushworth and Baker going at it. Oh, and Colin Cunniff nearly running into the back of the Apex Racing car of Jamie Fluke, and the Sim Racer car behind's just trying to get involved as well. As we come across the line, we're going to be starting lap 16 now. Starting lap 17 actually as we come across. And look, all the Sim Racer cars. They're having a brilliant race here in race 1. Colin Cunniff really a friction racing car and a Sim Racer sandwich. And now Ray Alfala's going for it. He's up to 2nd place. He's got past Jamie Fluke, and now he can set his sights on David Baker, who's now found himself back at the front of this race. He was in 5th place about 3 laps ago, and now he's leading, and Jamie Fluke's not giving up. He's now going to try the inside line this time after running the outside. What's happening?
Someone's down really low there. This could be messy. Oh, we've got a few cars over. Who was that? I think that was Dan Craft. Someone else, Kip Stevens as well.
Car 55, it was George Simmons as well for collecting motorsports cars. Got a lot of damage there.
Let's just see what happened there. I'm just going to watch Dan. Yeah, not ideal. Someone just got spat down low, and I think, oh no, exactly the same again. Just a few cars caught together, and there was a few drivers really lucky not to be involved in that.
So we're about to run into the final part of the race. We'll run you through the top 10 quickly. David Baker leads Jamie Fluke, Ray Alfala, Alex Smolensky, Ben Hackerson. Well, this is the order that we got when we came across the line last time. Jamie Rushworth, Nathaniel Simpson, Pete Newman, Richard Gore, and George Simmons, who was involved in that contact, rounding out the top 10 here. On to lap 19 of 24. Baker versus Fluke. Fluke going down the inside into turn 1, and that is him back to the race lead. But Baker will try and get it back straight away, which he can do here on the oval. And then the 2 Sim Racer cars. It's Alfala and Smolensky just watching, waiting for something to happen almost. Smolensky darting all over the place. It's actually Ray Alfala behind him. And Alfala's going down the inside into turn 3. Smolensky's going to try and go around the outside. There is grip round there, but I don't think he's going to get it done. And now Alfala's pushing Baker off of turn 4. Please don't go 4 wide, guys. This could end pretty horribly here. And they don't. Across the line we go onto lap 20.
Alfala pushing Baker there as well. Just wanted to give him a better run going into 1, just so that he could try and clear Jamie. Didn't quite happen. He's going to try that once again. Still got Hackerson behind there. He's been kicking around that sort of area for a long time. They are 3 wide now. Smolensky in the middle.
Ben Hackerson about to join in as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, and Hackerson has just arrived on the scene here, and he's already going to take the positions. He's got the grip around the outside of Alex Smolensky, and Ray Alfala has the nerve to go up the middle, and now he's trying to defend from his teammates as we come across the line. On to lap 21 now of 24. Baker on the inside, Fluke on the outside, and it's Ray Alfala on the inside with Hackerson on the outside in row 2. And then it's Alex Smolensky with Jamie Rushworth, who's got a very severely dented rear end, coming up in 6th place. Off of turn 2 we go. Oh, a little bit of contact there, I think might have been with the wall for Ben Hackerson. Turn 3 then. Baker on the inside, just getting in there first. It's anyone's guess who's going to win this. Let's see what the gap's like when we get to the line. We're starting lap 22. And then of 24, Ray Alfala trying to make it 3 wide across the line, and Hackerson's darting all over the place. The gap at the line was 37 thousandths, and it was Baker leading. Ray Alfala going through the middle. How's that going to work? Fluke still on the inside, Ray. Watch out for him in the Apex car. And he's just able to hold on, and now Hackerson gets the run, of course. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars, I think, fighting here.
Yeah, I'm just holding my breath here, just seeing what's going on. Sorry, I think
we're just watching in awe here.
The pack's thinned out quite a bit with a couple of little crashes that we've had, but really we were pretty much as we were right at the very start. A little bit of contact there. Baker just going in a little bit later to the corner, caught Fluke out just a tiny little bit there, and I think that's going to give Al Fowler the opportunity. He needs to poke himself out and in front of the Apex car there, and he's still using all the draft. All of a sudden it looks like Hackerson's trying to push Jamie along as well, but up top goes Al Fowler. He's going to have to try and work it on the high line. If he's going to make it, we're going to be one lap to go. White flag is coming out.
Real Fowler's found himself up on the high line, then he's going to have the help of Jamie Fluke, but Fluke fancies going to the bottom and there's no way through, and now he's going to try and go around the outside of Ray. Going into turn 1 with his teammate Alex Smolensky on the inside as well. David Baker leads us then onto the final lap of the race. He had just over 1.5 tenths in the bag. Let's see what happens off of turn 2. He's actually got quite a bit of an advantage here, David Baker. Oh, that's so close. I thought Fluke was going to turn Ray Alfaro into the wall. They all dash to their various lines. Turns 3 and 4 then. Hackerson now trying to go down the inside. And look at Ray Alfaro. He's got a whole load of speed there on the entry to turns 3. But off of turn 4 we go. Baker's is clear, and race 28 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will go to David Baker. Fantastic win from him. He was outside the top 5 for a brief moment during the race, but he's able to come across the line and take the win by 3 tenths of a second from Ray Alfala, who came from 18th on the grid to 2nd. A storming drive there from the NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series champion Ben Hackerson. For Collecting Motorsports gets a good podium for their team and some useful podium credits as well. Jamie Fluke in 4th after starting 3rd. Alex Smolensky 7th to 5th. Jamie Rushworth with some severe damage to the back of his car from 10th to 6th. Pete Newman 17th to 7th. And then Simon Field finished 8th. Nathaniel Simpson 9th. And Stelling Chepelevsky, Alex, 34th on the grid. Starting at the back after that penalty he picked up after the contact of Barber. Goes from 34th to 10th.
Yeah, he was lucky that he didn't have the 1 lap penalty or the stop and hold at the start. He was able to start right at the back and allowed him to work his way forward, and he did that superbly, I have to say. But what a great race that was. Remember, guys, we've got 3 more of these to come. We've got reverse grids and all sorts of stuff as well. Don't go anywhere, because if you enjoyed that, you thought that was a whole load of fun, we can have a little advert break in a minute, but then we've got 3 more of these to come tonight. So it's going to be a whole load of action, watching some of these fast guys work their way through what could be a full reverse grid as well. 2 opportunities to get that. Good chance we're going to be well up in the 20s at least.
Jamie Fluke has described that race as mental, and he was sweating at some points during that race, and I can hardly blame him. It's great for us to watch, but I'm sure that in the car they're absolutely eyes forward, just hoping that they do not hit a single Kia Optima during this race. Let's run you through the finishing order then of race 1 of the evening, round 28 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. David Baker takes another win at Twin Ring Motegi, and this is going to do his championship a world of good. We'll update you on the championship standings and where Baker stands after the break. Ray Alfala in 2nd. A great job from him and some useful points for Sim Racer. Ben Hackerson in 3rd, Jamie Fluke 4th, Alex Smolensky 5th, Jamie Rushworth in 6th, 7th Pete Newman, 8th Simon Field, 9th Nathaniel Simpson, and Stelling Chepelevsky rounding out the top 10. Michael Hall finished in 11th, Paul Smith in 12th, which I think is the highest Pro-Am driver. 13th for Richard Gore, 14th for Dan Hunt, 15th Lee Berridge, 16th Liam Atkins, 17th for Scott Malcolm, 18th John Roberts from 35th on the grid, 19th for Cesario Rizzo, who started at the back in 42nd, and then 20th Julian Janowski. So these cars that we're mentioning here, they've all had big comeback races during this opening race of the night. 21st for Peter Harrod, 22nd Roy Faverke, 23rd for Andrew Whitehead, 24th Nathan Davis, 25th Craig Evans, 26th Jay Wright, 27th Stuart Atkinson, and the cars 1 lap down or more. Some of these guys, of course, started from the pit lane and were already a lap down really from the get-go, and one of them, Wojciech Savilovic in 28th. If we do get a full reverse grid, he will be the guy that's in with a shot at pole position, because the points only go down to cars that finish 1 lap down. So the cars that weren't classified, Rob Graham in 29th, 2 laps down. Then we had Dan Craft 30th, George Simmons 31st, Kip Stevens 32nd. So he dropped off that pack in that crash that we had during the race. Colin Cunniff started on the front row, involved in a crash there. his Friction Racing teammate Ross Balfour was involved as well in another crash during the race. 34th for Nick McCarron, 35th Mark Johnston, 36th Philip Johansson, 37th Jack McIntyre, who had that crash with Simon Field during the race. Steve Hefford in 38th, Ross Balfour, as we just said, in 39th, crashed with Russell Laidler, who finished in 40th. Ash Sutton, I think, had connection problems in 41st, and then Alex Everett did not take the start. On and Alex, then time for the first reverse grid of the evening to set the grid for race 2. Cars then 16 down to 26, and 2 full reverse grid options. So Wojciech Sredovic has 2 opportunities to be on pole position. In fact, 2 opportunities to be on pole position. Let's have a look at the cars eligible then. The drivers that are eligible for the reverse grid are as follows. We've got Liam Atkins, Scott Malcolm, John Roberts, Cesare Rizzo, Julian Janowski, Pete Harrod, Roy Verburke, Andrew Whitehead, Nathan Davis, Craig Evans, Jay Wright, and then if we have a fall, it is Wojciech Sredovic. So Alex then, who's going to be on pole for race 29 of the championship?
Get away and see who it's going to be. Oh, come on, we haven't had a fall. If it's 23rd again, then I'm afraid we're going to have to send this back to Ashley, because it's not, it's 17th. That's good, because it would give us the same first spin 3 weeks in a row. But yeah, 17th, so just a small one for the first one.
Scott Malcolm then for Automech is going to be on pole for the second race of the evening. Liam Atkins will be alongside him on the front row, and Lee Berridge in third, Dan Hunt in fourth, and Richard Gore in fifth. Alex, good first race. I think if we're holding our breath for this one, I think we're probably going to be on the floor needing the oxygen mask in the next 3 races.
I think you're right. I'm really looking forward to the next 3 actually, and yeah, if I felt a tiny little bit tired at the start of the broadcast, I don't now. So it's really started to heat up, and we know what the reverse grids are going to be like. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. Stay with us. We'll be back very, very soon. Shortly, even.
Yeah.
So I'm still tired, clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, 2 more afternoon races and 1 late evening race as well to come. So yeah, lots of crazy action still to come here.
We may even have a night race as well. We'll see what the organisers do, because we do of course have the night race capability here at Twin Ring Motegi. So yeah, we're going to step aside for just a few moments here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. But yeah, as Alex has been saying, join us in a few moments and stay with us of course, because the next 3 races are going to be something to behold. So thanks for watching this first race. We'll see you after the break for race 29 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship.
I'm Eric Hudek. I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. This is round 29 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. We're now in midday conditions here at Twin Ring Motegi. Brilliant first race as always at this racetrack, and now we've got a reverse grid to contend with as well. 17 cars reversed for this second race of the evening. And from my memory, Alex, I think that means that Scott Malcolm is on the pole for the Automech team. So 17 cars reversed. Real Falla came from 18th to 2nd, so we're going to see another race where guys are going to be fighting their way through.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think, you know, what we saw that last race, you know, 3 wide, 3, 4 deep, and lots of 2 wide action going on. I mean, it's just goes to show how well actually this Kia and this Twin Ring Motegi oval work. You know, you really can run multiple lanes and make them work. You know, you can overtake high, you can overtake low, you can overtake up, you know, 3 wide if you need to be around the top, through the middle. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, there's a lot of people asking for multi-groove racing in iRacing. Well, here it is right now.
And it's in a Kia Optima, not a stock car either,
Yeah.
so
Well, we'll have to forgive that part.
yeah. We're looking through the championship standings then going into round 28. Wojciech Zawidovic continues to lead Michael Schaubach by 111 points. Alex Malensky is in 3rd, Simon Field in 4th, Stelian Chapelevsky in 5th, Richard Gore 6th. Jamie Rushworth has gained 4 places as a result of that good finish tonight in race 1, is now in 7th. Ben Hackerson 8th, Ross Balfour in 9th and Colin Cunniff in 10th. David Baker is still in 26th after his win in race 1. In the Pram standings, Paul Smith leads Roy Verke, still Nick McCarron 3rd, Jay Wright 4th, Scott Malcolm in 5th. Teams Championship, Apex Racing lead Alphalatech by a whopping 89 points now, after really the whole of Alphalatech was starting almost at the back of the grid for that first race. Race up with CQR, up in 3rd now, with Simpson Racing 4th, Friction Racing 5th, Sim Racer in 6th, Eclectic Motorsport leading the Pro-Am teams with CQR Academy in 8th, Engine All Direct 9th, and then Automech in 10th. So we head down to the grid then for the second race of the evening. Another rolling start, of course, and another 24-lap race. Temperature now 26 degrees, track temperature 47. And I'm sure tyre wear could be a factor here in this race. Scott Malcolm on the pole, Liam Atkins 2nd, Lee Berridge 3rd, Dan Hunt 4th, Richard Gore 5th, Paul Smith in 6th, Michael Hall 7th, Stelian Chapelevsky 8th, Nathaniel Simpson 9th, Simon Field rounds out the top 10. Pete Newman 11th, Jamie Rushworth 12th, 13th for Alex Malensky, 14th for Jamie Fluke, 15th Ben Hackerson, 16th Ray Alfala, 17th race 1 winner David Baker, 18th John Roberts, 9th Cesare Rizzo, 20th Julian Janowski, 21st Pete Harrod, 22nd Roy Verke, 23rd Andrew Whitehead, 24th Nathan Davis, 25th Craig Evans, 26th it is Jay Wright, 27th Stuart Atkinson, 28th Championship leader Wojciech Zawidovic, 29th Robert Graham, 30th Dan Kraft, 31st George Simmons, 32nd Kip Stevens, 33rd Colin Cunniff, 34th Nick McCarron, 35th Mark Johnston, 36th Jack McIntyre, 37th Steve Hefford, 38th Ross Balfour, 39th Russell Laidler, and lining up at the rear in 40th place it is Ashley Sutton.
Just while these guys are doing this pace lap, remember you can join us here in this series. Head on over to BritishSimRacers.com. You can find out all about the series, sign up, register, get on Mumble, contact the Facebook group, and also if you want to take part and you don't know what this is all about, this is iRacing.com. Head on over there, get yourself 3 months for the price of 1. Look at the description on this video. Promotion code is PR-BSR TC, sorry, I'll get that right. And yeah, all you need is a pretty reasonable PC, but wheel and pedal set preferred, but you can run off of like a joypad or something like that, and you can be racing with these guys in next week if you wanted to.
Yes, indeed, and great championship, of course, the BSR TC, and off of turn 4 we go. Scott Malcolm's going to be leading them down to the green flag, and race 29 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. Good clean start, actually. It wasn't as as clear-cut as it was in race 1. Baker was quite far in front, as I do remember when we got the green last time, but Scott Malcolm has got the engine or direct car, Lee Berridge right with him, heading off at turn 2. Looks like everyone has got through once again. Nick McCarron bringing up the rear, but Lee Berridge is going for it straight away. Engine or direct car going down the inside into turn 3, Alex, and is joined also by Liam Atkins. He might be trying to take second place away as well. Yeah,
Berridge absolutely nailed it coming off of turn 2 there and carried so much more speed than what Malcolm did, and all of a sudden just that's that slingshot done, and looks like we've got Liam Atkins trying to get by as well. Richard Gore didn't have such a good first race, makes it 3 wide going into 1. Malcolm just gives him a fair bit of room, and then they're slowly squeezing back down towards that apron line there, quickest way through that corner.
Turn 2 for the second time. Also met car Scott Malcolm then trying to force away through the middle. That was so close there.
Someone into the wall heavily. I just heard it in my headset there, just a bit further back, but everybody seems to have survived. Where is that's not good. Someone's around. There's a CQR car around. Somehow manages to save it there. He's got no momentum. Everybody's having to scramble to avoid him. Jamie
Paul
Fluke
Smith,
was
I think.
in and around there. He lost a load of places as well. But yeah, geez, that was lucky.
Paul Smith, who started near the front in this second race, doesn't like racing on the ovals, of course, and yeah, is now down the order. Here we go then, battle for the lead. Lee Berridge versus Richard Gore, 2 by 2. Stelian Chepelevsky joining in the action as well. Stelian had to serve a penalty in race 1 after the collision in race 3 at Barber, and now fighting for the lead as well. Berridge continues to lead. Malcolm now coming back up the inside into second place. So he's fighting back as the Automech driver. We've got this front pack and then a bit of a gap to the next Skagala cars. Into turn 1, Chepelevsky going for it then. Down the inside of the Automech car. Malcolm, be careful, Stelian, you don't want to come together. I'm sure they were rubbing there. And that can be pretty dangerous. If you rub too much, the cars will get stuck together and you'll be sent on a one-way trip to that outside wall. Chepelevsky now up into second place. And now, who's that fighting? It's Jamie Rushworth, who had a strong finish in race 1, already trying to get into the podium positions.
Rushworth was very quick in that last race, had some issues and dropped about 7 or 8 places with about 4 to go, is what set him back a little bit. But Stelian took a lot of speed going into turn 1 through that last lap, and that's why he just run up a little bit high, but Malcolm was aware of it, and Gore got very much out of it as well, because he was up top 3 wide and lost him about 3 places there, but still in there, and I think that's just been Richard's season all over. And who's that running slow on the
Rushworth, sorry. Rushworth, is it you? He must be out.
Not quite sure what's going on with
he's coming back across the track. Oh my goodness me! It hits his teammate. Oh, and everyone's out of control. I think he must have had a problem. From my memory of Jamie Rushworth, he is a BSR TC champion. I think he must have had a problem with his wheel or pedal set or something, and he couldn't control them because the car just looked like he had a mind of its own.
I'm going to watch that back again and see exactly what happened. Yeah, he just got down low, didn't know where he was. Just trying to run either that or like he's because he runs on an Oculus, doesn't he? So whether or not he's
couldn't see a thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. He's always that. He's just hoping and praying. Oh, he just got absolutely launched as well. So he is out of here.
Well, definitely, yeah, and I think a few of his teammates might have been involved in that incident as well. I think I did see a race up with CQR car taking to the skies along with Jamie Rushworth. But Stelian Chepelevsky now continues to lead. Lee Berridge, we were talking about Rushworth actually, so now I might put that down to Cursor the commentator. But Berridge now in second, third Nathaniel Simpson, Richard Gore still in fourth, then Scott Malcolm fifth, Michael Hall sixth, seventh Dan Hunt, eighth Liam Atkins. Another crash, Alex.
Yeah, I think it's Rizzo. Oh, there's a few involved in it as well. Rizzo was involved, but
Nathan
Colin
Davis.
Cunniff's got caught up in that too.
Oh,
like you say,
one.
Davis, Whitehead as well. So, it's all kicked off a little bit now.
All started with a CQR Academy car, and it's Pete Harrod, I think, is it? Yes, I think it is. He was out of control, and then Nathan Davis hits him. So does Colin Cunniff, and one of the Eclectic Motorsports cars as well. So another big crash here. It's all kicking off in the second race of the evening here. And off of turn 4 we go to start lap 8. It is Lee Berridge leading them across the line.
Yeah, Berridge had a good race a few weeks back, of course, at the Nordschleife and held his own, and he's doing it again today. So, you know, good on him. And yeah, he's up against Chepelevsky, who's trying to work that low line again. It's not quite managing to make it work. Nathaniel Simpson just tucked in behind him. Richard Gore still sat there as well. Alfala is up into 6th place for the fans that are on YouTube right now.
Tell you what though, Alex, Stallion Chapelevsky being pegged back by Lee Berridge. This oval is a great equaliser in terms of all the drivers in the BSRTC, because you have a driver like Lee Berridge able to lead this race and hold off a championship runner-up in Chapelevsky.
Yeah, Chopi's no slouch, and I think you know, the last race proved that from where he started right at the back and moved his way up into contention. So it's yeah, it's not easy, but I'll tell you what's difficult. It's difficult to get away. I think here the draft in the Kia means that you can pretty much tag along on this circuit as long as you don't make any drastic mistakes. Oh, we're just on board with Nathaniel Simpson right now, and he's got Gore up the inside. All of a sudden, that green Apex Racing Academy car shows itself to the left-hand side of us.
Look at this, we could be going 4 wide down the front straight here. Into turn 1 we go. Are they all going to get out of it alive? I think they will. Oh, here, a bit of contact. Is everyone through safely? Lee Berridge continues to lead. Off of turn 2, Chapelevsky's going to be there. They just hold on, and now look at the run that the Simpson racing car of Nathaniel Simpson's getting down the back straight.
Oh, through the middle.
Go through the middle, hold on, oh, and he hits a Berridge just a tiny bit. The car gets out of shape, and now Malcolm's going to get down the inside of Richard Gore. Simpson on the outside, very, very tight indeed. The Apex Racing car getting eaten up and spat back out there in 5th place.
How they survived that, I don't know. That was there was room for 2 cars there, but they managed to get 3 all through it. Gore lost a lot of momentum coming off of that as well. You won't want to risk that 3 wide again, I don't think, anytime soon.
There was just nothing that Richard Gore could do. He was in the middle, he couldn't move the steering wheel in any direction, otherwise he would have been in the wall most certainly. Now down the back straight we go. Alex Smolensky now trying to go for the race lead. And 3 wide into turn 3 and 4. Nathaniel Simpson in the middle, trying to go around the outside of Berridge. Berridge getting pinned down on the apron there. Through turns 3 and 4, now Chapelevsky's going to cut to the inside, 3 wide across the line. Who's going to lead this lap? We're about to start lap 12, almost half race distance. It was Simpson leading by a 1/10 of a second from Berridge as we came across the line. Into turn 1 then, Chapelevsky on the inside. Berridge trying to forge your way around the outside, and now this second pack's arriving on the scene, getting led by Alex Smolensky. And then it's Simon Field, Scott Malcolm, Alfala involved as well.
Yeah, Dave Baker also making his way up. Last race winner, of course. He was very, very strong last season here, and he's doing it again. He's just tucked in behind as we jump on board with him behind Alfala now as well. Watch these two, they must have both gone through the pack at the same rate of knots, because they're right there, 6th and 7th place. Smolensky down the inside, Chapelevsky down the inside, can't make it happen. He somehow he's still managed to be 4th going into that corner. He's half a car length behind the race leader. It's crazy.
I thought Berridge was going to get hung out to dry then, because other drivers were picking their own lines, but look at this, 3 wide off of turn 2. We've got Simpson on the outside, Alfala in the middle, and then on the bottom we have got, of course, Stallion Chapelevsky in the Alfala set car, who's getting a nudge by Ray. Oh, he goes up the track. That is so dangerous there. Stallion Chapelevsky almost hitting Simon Field, and if it was just a few millimetres earlier, then I'm sure they would have been off into the wall. But yes, Simon Field now up into 4th place. Chapelevsky after that moment down to 5th along with Ray Alfala. They've dropped a position or 2. And now who's got that going on the inside? That is David Baker, our race 1 winner. He's already up to 7th place as well. Oh, there's so much to look at here in this battle for the top 10 positions. On to lap 14, it is now Berridge leading Simpson, but look at him start this way and that.
Yeah, just a big scramble there. Somehow they managed to avoid each other. The Simpson cars coming together to try and help each other, and round the outside Simon Field. I thought he was a bit nervous of what Smolensky was doing right there. Chapelevsky and Alfala rubbing paint through the exit of turn 4 there as well. Dave Baker maybe thinking about 3 wide going into turn 1. He certainly is.
Sasavinovic there as well. He was a lap down and started 28th, and now he's up to 8th place as the season 6 champion. Off of turn 2 we go then. The Simpson racing cars forging away through on the outside. I'm sure Simon Field clipped the wall just the tiniest bit.
Huge momentum loss as well. You can just see him dropping down the timing screen right now.
Oh, this is not going to end well, surely. Chepelevsky down the inside of Smolenski. Alfala trying to go around the outside in the sim racer car. Great driving by all these guys. I keep thinking they were going to end up in the wall, but they don't. Off of turn 4. 4, 5 maybe, wide down the front straights. Chepelevsky just holding on to the inside. Baker trying to get through. Berridge trying to get through. My camera can't keep all of them in one shot. As we head through turn 1, who's leading? It's Simpson from Ray Alfala. Then it's Alex Smolenski, his sim racer teammate, in 3rd. Then it's Chepelevsky 4th. Then it's Lee Berridge in 5th, still in 5th. Then Savidovic in 6th. Baker 7th. Simon Field 8th. Richard Gore 9th. And then Scott Malcolm, the pole sitter, in 10th. Into turn 3 then, Alfala trying to go around the outside. He tries to get this move done on David Baker on the last lap of the race in race 1. Savidovic coming out of nowhere. The man started nearly in 30th place. Now trying to go for a top 5 or maybe even a podium. Chepelevsky still on that bottom line, trying to get any positions he can. Ray Alfala's found the inside, Alex Smolenski's found the inside line rather, and now he's going for the lead past Nathaniel Simpson into turn 1.
Yeah, gets that position as well for the moment. Of course, Simpson will have the run on the outside. Going to carry that much more momentum, can just pick up the gas that tiny bit earlier. These front wheel drives, of course, just naturally push wide. Totally different animal to drive. You can't rotate the car around using the loud pedal. Chippy!
Has to check up there. And Savidovic has to get on the brakes and to stop him taking him out basically. And that's lost him a bit of momentum. Lee Berridge now trying to get up the inside of him. And Jamie Fluke it's Richard Gore leading the rest of them along the line. I think Jamie Fluke might have been involved in a crash at some point because the he got
that bit at the start, didn't he, where there was a car sideways in front of him and he sort of dropped down to about 21st. He's still there, 1.8 seconds behind the leader, I might add, in 16th place.
1.8 seconds covering nearly the top 25. That is absolutely crazy. On to lap 18 of 24, 6.5 laps to go. Ray Alfala trying to get past Nathaniel Simpson. They all filter down into 2x2 into turn 3. Savidovic there in 5th. Smolenski then trying to get past Nathaniel Simpson for the Simpson Racing Team. I don't know whether Nathaniel Simpson has ever won in the BSRTC, but he is leading at the moment, or is he? Across the line we go. The gap for the lead is 31 thousandths. And Alfala trying to go through the middle there into turn 1. No way through. Then it's Savidovic and Chepelevsky going side by side. Then Berridge, then Gore. And then it's David Baker, Simon Field and Pete Newman. I don't know whether there's been a crash or anything, but Jamie Fluke's just gained a ton of positions. He's now up into 14th place. Down the back straight we go. Lap 19. Chepelevsky now going for the outside. 3 wide into turn 3.
And there's crash, major crash further back. Hackerson with, I think that's Kip Stevens. So Kip's had another
and
DNF.
Roy Verke.
As a few cars managed to make their way through it, but it's separated that pack out just a little bit. Look at that going into turn 1. That is 4 wide.
4 wide, and Alfala's got no fear, has he? That is so close. That's not going to end well. 3 wide. Up at turn 2 then, lap 20. 5.5 laps to go. Chepelevsky doesn't know where to go. Neither does Wojciech Savidovic. They're all darting this way and that, trying to find the cleanest bit of track. Into turn 3 then. Simpson round the outside. Doesn't somehow not make contact with Ray Alfala. And now his sim racer teammate Smolenski is coming back down the inside. It's like commentating on horse racing or something. It's so close.
Jeez, for a moment there, Simpson wanted that inside line. He's going to have Savidovic trying to take it away from him though. So close through there. Another car coming out the pits as well. Alfala was across the line in first place, but Smolenski's taken it. There's a little nerf there. Somehow they managed to stay pointing forward.
That's absolutely scuppered Nathaniel Simpson's momentum. He's down to 4th place now. Might even lose more places to David Baker. Baker down the inside into turn 3. He's now come onto the scene, has the race 1 winner. Lee Berridge still in there as well. Simon Field. Chepelevsky's just been drifting back. He's now in 8th place, but don't count him out. We've seen guys come back to the front from positions like that, like David Baker did during the race. 3 laps to go then, lap 22. Alfala darting to the bottom. He was on the outside just a few seconds ago. He's trying to find his way through. And now Savidovic, 28th. On the grid now at the moment, could be about to take the lead off turn 2, but Alex Smolenski is going to try and stop that from happening, and Ray Alfala will get the run off of turn 2 as well. He's going to bump draft almost the season 6 champion down the back straight. David Baker watching as well, eagerly trying to get involved in this action as well.
These sim racers, guys, just need to block up the track, and they've got a 1, 2, 3 wide all the way around. Don't give anyone the opportunity to get down low and underneath them, and you know this will be a great result. Saying that, Baker gets a great run off. He's already alongside Smolenski now, so We know how quick Baker is. He'll carry the momentum into turn 1. Whether or not he'll be able to get out the corner. And I tell you what, Smolenski threw it into 1. He's run a little bit wide. It's killed his momentum. He is going to lose that place, unfortunately. That's the 1, 2, 3 probably gone unless he can fight back in this next lap and a half.
Ray Alfala would like the win, and he's going down the inside of his sim racer teammate Wojciech Savidovic. It's turn 3. Savidovic getting a bit wide. He needs to be careful because there's not too much grip out there. The marbles will be building up during the race meeting, of course. Coming around to start the last lap.
Yeah, he'll get a great exit though, and I think Alfala saw that exit speed that he was carrying off there. Knew that he wanted the inside line going into 1. It's not easy to go around the outside. You definitely got the advantage, and Savidovic is no slouch. Of course, he's won countless races before. This one is not over yet. Neither is it with Baker just behind him as well. Gets a good run, both do. Alfala straight to the defensive line as well. He's going to be compromised a little bit on the exit of turn 1. We could be 3 wide going across the line. Baker, he has a look, but there's nothing going that time.
So and goes way too deep.
Very, very wide. That's not going to hurt. This surely is Alfala's race.
Off of turn 4, race 29 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will go to Ray Alfala. The NASCAR Peak Anti-Freeze Series champion does take his first win, I do believe, in the BSR TC. Savidovic 1.5 tenths behind, couldn't hold on in the end. David Baker, race 1 winner, third. Valiant effort, by the way, by Savidovic, 28th to second. Ray Alfala, 16th to first as well. Cars that started inside the top 10 that finished there, only 3. Alex Smolenski in 4th in the end. It looked like he was going to take a win for Sim Racer at one point as well. 5th, Nathaniel Simpson, great showing from him as well. Sterling Chepalewski, 6th, 7th, Lee Berridge, 8th, Jamie Fluke, 9th, Pete Newman, and 10th, Simon Fields. Wow, what a race!
Can we get confirmation on who was second there? Because it was ridiculously close. What was the gap between those two?
It was Savidovic ahead of Baker, and the gap between them at the line was 21 thousandths of a second.
Alfala has a little weave.
We're going to see some professional NASCAR donuts here, possibly.
Reverse donut, reverse donut.
What a shame there, but yeah. Ray Alfala storming drive, same for Savidovic as well, and Baker and Smolenski as well. Great driving by those 4 to get through to the front, and a few crashes along the way. Most notably Jamie Rushworth's as well. That'll be quite interesting, especially on the gag reel at the end of the season. 36th place for him, 20 laps down. I think he ended up taking out his teammate Ash Sutton, Rob Graham and Jack McIntyre as well. So not a good race there for the race up car of Jamie Rushworth, but great race for Sim Racer. They might not have taken the 1, 2, 3, which was on the cards, Alex, but finishing 1, 2 and 4 in the end. Still a good achievement for them and good for their team's championship.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what they wanted. And of course, Stillion, helped, was there for Alfala Tech as well. So, those guys struggled a little bit, and there's not really seen too much of friction today. So, seems to be a week for the teams to try and close up on the front 3.
Of course, Michael Schauback not here this race meeting, it doesn't look like, so that's not going to help Alfala Tech's points this race meeting anyway. Let's run you through the finishing order then from race 29 of the championship, race 2 of the evening. 2 more races still to come. If you love that one, there's still 2 more races of this. So Ray Alfala, for Sim Racer, the NASCAR champion, takes his first win in the championship. We're finishing these races in just over 15 minutes. That's quite something then. Savidovic in 2nd, David Baker 3rd, Alex Smolenski 4th, Nathaniel Simpson 5th, Sterling Chepalewski 6th, Lee Berridge 7th, Jamie Fluke 8th, Pete Newman in 9th, and Simon Field finished in 10th place. General Roberts finished in 11th, 12th Richard Gore, 13th Michael Hall, 14th Julian Janowski, 15th Ross Balfour, 16th Russell Laidler, 17th Scott Malcolm, 18th in the end Paul Smith. That momentum that he lost at the end of the first lap or so, he had to fight his way back through in the end, got 18th, 19th Mark Johnston, and 20th Jay Wright, 21st Nick McCarron, 22nd George Simmons. Then the cars 1 lap down or more. We've got Dan Kraft and then Roy Ververke 24th, and if the full reverse grid gets drawn, it'll be him on pole, and then Ben Hackerson 5 laps down, Dan Hunt also 5 laps down, those two having a crash along with Kip Stevens in 27th, and then 14 laps down were Liam Atkins and Colin Cunniff. Craig Evans 15 laps down in 30th, and then 16 laps down we've got Andrew Whitehead 31st, Stuart Atkinson 32nd, 18 laps down Pete Harrod had a crash on the front straight along with Cesario Rizzo and Nathan Davis, and then Jamie Rushworth had that wild moment coming off of turn 2. He was 36th, 20 laps down, and he was involved in that crash with Ash Sutton, Rob Graham and Jack McIntyre, and Steve Hefford again didn't take the start. Well then, it's time for the second reverse grid of the evening to set the grid for race 3, round 30 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Cars that are eligible to be reversed are as follows. Russell Laidler, Scott Malcolm, Paul Smith, Mark Johnston, Jay Wright, Nick McKerran, George Simmons, Dan Kraft, Roy Ververke, Ben Hackerson, Dan Hunt, and if we get a full, it will be Roy Ververke that will get reversed onto pole. We've already had an Auto Met car on pole for the second race of the evening in Scott Malcolm. See if Roy Ververke could get a full and putting him onto pole position as well. So Alex, who's going to be on pole for the third race of the evening?
Let's see, I freak everybody out by moving the mouse around the screen. What's going on? Right, here we go. Oh, I just don't think it's going to reach full. 21st it's going to be. Yeah, quite comfortably bang in the middle. 21st is pretty reasonable one.
And I'll put Nick McKerran onto pole. Jay Wright second, Mark Johnston third, Paul Smith fourth, and Scott Malcolm, the pole sitter for this first race for the second race of the evening, up in 5th place on the grid for this third race of the evening. Well, I think we're going to step aside for another few moments here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. Stay with us, of course. We've got 2 more thrilling races to come from the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Round 30 of the championship comes up after the break.
I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with the manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
friends in this place gonna party.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV. This is round 30 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. 2 thrilling races. We've got 2 more mouth-watering ones to come, and race 3 will be underway in just a few moments' time as Chapelevsky goes for a ride almost. Adam Bath here once again with iRacing World Championship driver Alex Simpson. Alex, it was hard to focus on any battle during that second race. We had so much action there. And in the end, Ray Alfala was able to take his first win in the championship.
Yeah, great to see Ray take a win. It's been a long time coming, I think. So yeah, awesome for him, and fully deserved one as well, because he was 16th on the grid, worked his way up through there as well. Just very, very patient, and but also aggressive at the same time, and yeah, absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, I think he was unlucky to not get a race win at Phoenix earlier in the season, and has been able to do one now. Yeah, bigger reverse grid for this third race of the evening. Just at 21 cars reverse for this one, as opposed to the 17 we had in race 2. So we're going to see Ray Alfala and Wojciech having to work their way through this pack. And we saw with the likes of Baker and Cohen race 1, they were able to do it pretty easily. They were with the lead pack with about 10 laps to go.
Sorry about that, just wanted to point out, anyone tuning in expecting to see the MX5 series, that's just click the button on the top of iRacing Live. It says that there's 2 programs live now. You've got the BSR TC, the Pro Series, where the drivers fight it out for $10,000 of prize money, and then you've got the MX5 that RaceSpot are doing out there. There's a lot of questions being asked in the chat now, so yeah, just hit iRacing Live and then select the MX5 series at the top.
Ready for the championship standings quickly. If you could just joining us, welcome of course to Apex Racing TV, and yeah, this is the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Wojciech Savidovic leads Alex Smolensky by 177 points. Michael Schauback now dropping down to 3rd due to him not racing at this race meeting. Simon Field in 4th, Stadion Chapelevsky 5th, Richard Gore 6th, Ross Balfour in 7th, Jamie Rushworth 8th, Ben Hackerson 9th, Paul Smith in 10th. Over in the Pro-Am standings, it's still Paul Smith leading Nick McCarron, Roy Verke, Jay Wright and Scott Malcolm. Team standings, Simpson Racing now up to 2nd, behind Apex Racing, who are leading, Alphalatech 3rd, Sim Racer 4th, and Race Hub with CQR in 5th. Just under a minute to go before we head down to the grid, and once again we'll have another pace lap, and then 24 more laps of racing will get underway. Really, anyone can have a shot at winning here, Alex, because Wojciech Savidovic down in 28th place was able to get to the front during the second race and had a shot for the race win. So even if you're starting perhaps just towards the rear end of the top 30, you still have a chance of possibly getting to the front and possibly even taking a race win, as long as you can keep the car clean.
Exactly that. I think just as long as you start on the lead lap, and we've seen some penalties where they're already a lap down, those guys have no chance whatsoever. But those that are on there, you've got your opportunity. You just need to work your way through. Perhaps a couple of wrecks that have gone on in every race so far. But once you do that, then there's absolutely every chance that you've got to get towards the front. You just got to make your moves. You've got to be confident with them, and you just got to go for it. There's a lot of room on this racetrack. We've already seen 4 wide on a couple of occasions, and some epic 3 wide battles as well. So I think this one's going to be just much the same.
Next week we head to Indianapolis Road to tie in with the Indy cars, I think, going there for their race meeting. So we'll be there next week before heading to Virginia International Raceway, Lime Rock Park, and then Alton Park before we head on our first off week of the season. Let's have a look then at the starting grid for race 30 of the championship, race 3 of the evening. Nick McCowan is on the pole, Jay Wright in 2nd, Mark Johnston 3rd, Paul Smith 4th, Scott Malcolm in 5th. 6th, it is Russell Laidler. 7th, Ross Balfour. 8th, Julian Janowski. 9th, Michael Hall, running out the top 10, Richard Gore. John Roberts 11th, Simon Field 12th, Pete Newman 13th, Jamie Fluke is in 14th, Lee Berridge 15th, Stadion Chapelevsky 16th, Nathaniel Simpson 17th, 18th Alex Smolensky, 19th race 1 winner David Baker, 20th Wojciech Savidovic, 21st our race 2 winner Ray Alfala, George Simmons 22nd, Dan Kraft 23rd, 24th Roy Verke, 25th Ben Hackerson, 26th Dan Hunt, 27th Kip Stevens involved in that crash in race 2, 28th Liam Atkins, 29th Colin Cunniff, 30th Craig Evans, 31st Andrew Whitehead, 32nd Stuart Atkinson, 33rd Pete Harrod, 34th Cesario Rizzo, 35th Nathan Davis, 36th Jamie Rushworth, 37th Ash Sutton, 38th Rob Graham, and then 39th Steve Hefford. Alex, noticed that Ash Sutton's down in 37th place. He hasn't had the best of luck. He wasn't able to do race 1, I think, due to some sort of connection problem. And then race 2, he was taken out by his race up a CQR teammate Jamie Rushworth. So he is very quick, of course. We've seen that so many times in this championship. But 37th on the grid, I still wouldn't rule him out of getting towards the top 10 by the end of this one. If he keeps his car clean.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think could do exactly that. Just yeah, he's got a lot to work through. That's the issue. Steve Hefford not taken to the grid again.
Again, yeah.
That's 3 in a row. So I'm not quite sure what's going on for Steve tonight.
Yeah, interesting. By that, he'll be not taking part in the 3rd race. He didn't take part in race 1 or 2 either. So then, Nick McCarron, Jay Wright. That is your front row. Safety car is going to go into the pit lane any second now. Nick McCarron's just backing them up just a little bit. And then when it peels off, we will get the green flag and another 24-lap race will get underway. Nick McCarron just pacing it. He's going now. And race 30 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway.
Yeah, just not quite as much of a run as what everybody else has had so far tonight for Nick, but it looks like everybody around him was perhaps napping a little bit, so he's free and clear going through turn 1. Of course, these drivers still accelerating, getting up to full speed all the way through turn 1 with 3 wide, just a couple of cars back, but Nick now starting to feel the pressure of the draft behind him. That's a bit ambitious there for, I think that was Ross Balfour there, just trying to make some room pretty early on in the race to be going that aggressive, I have to say.
He was able to keep it clean somehow. Across the line we go then, lap 1 in the books. McCarron leads right. Smith now going for 2nd place. Paul Smith, who doesn't particularly like racing here on the ovals, is going for it straight away here. Trying to take 2nd place away from the engine or direct car. Of course, we had Lee Berridge up at the front in race 2. Now we've got another engine or direct car up front here in race 3. Look at this battle though. Simon Fields going at it with Mark Johnston, Michael Hall, and also the Alphalatech car of number 23 Julian Janowski. But in front of them, battle for the lead continues. So much action to look at here. Paul Smith going for 2nd, and Ashley is now going for the lead. 3 wide across the line. Everyone together here in these early stages. And Smith swooping around the outside there, the engine or direct car. It's Paul Smith who started in 4th. Looks like he's going to get to the lead. I think he's going to be clear of Jay Wright off at turn 2. I think, yes he is. So Paul Smith for CQR Academy leads. Alex heading down to turn 3.
Yeah, for a driver who wasn't enjoying it, looks like he's having a bit of fun out there now. Balfour to the inside of 3 wide, carries a little bit of speed in there, just needs to drag that brake pedal a little more to make sure he doesn't run up. Will compromise his exit a little bit, but manages to get into 2nd place. Needs that slipstream of Smith ahead to hold on to it though. Oh, they're very aggressive a bit further back. I'm looking at about 18th, 19th, 20th. They're 3 wide, almost 3 deep as well. So just flow their way through turn 1. That's a gaggle if you've ever seen one.
Look, he's there. Ray Alfala, Alex Smolensky. Those two were battling away for the race win in race 2. And now they're doing it again in race 3, but down in 15th position instead. Stalin Chapelewski up to 10th as well. He's fighting his way through the field, and Smolensky gets a little bit of a rub. There's a Simpson racing car coming back onto the track there, car 10. That is Simon Fields, and look at this, 4 wide off a turn 4. Where do you go? Johnston's coming down. Be careful, you've got 3 cars there. Simon Fields looking to get out of this. Savidovic trying to get involved as well. There's an engine or direct car. That is Lee Berridge as well. They all source each other out, I think. Still 3 wide, possibly heading off at turn 2. Simon Field and Savidovic going at it. But yeah, up at the front, Ross Balfour going for the lead. And Paul Smith as well into turn 3. And down the inside he goes. The Friction Racing car. Ross Balfour trying to get some points on the board for Friction Racing, who've been involved in quite a few crashes in the 2 races tonight. And then behind them, Russell Lader and Scott Malcolm going at it as well. Then Richard Gore leading the Apex Racing cars. And then it is Jamie Fluke. And then Michael Hall, Chepelewski, Janowski, McCarron. And then Jay Wright and Ray Alfala going at it. Alfala now trying to crack into the top 10. Well, if he gets past McCarron here, the pole sitter, he should be able to get inside the top 10, which he wants to do, of course.
3 wide for the lead. Baker struggling to move his way up. He's stuck way down in 23rd as well. Showing great pace the first 2 races. Just seems a little bit stuck this time. Nathaniel Simpson ahead of him. There's a whole load of changes going on right now. We've lost Wojciech Savidovic. He is riding the wall right now. And
John Roberts in the wall as well with Lee Berridge. Berridge was with Savidovic. Savidovic is carrying on, but he has got a lot of damage there to the front of his sim racer car. Let's see if we can have a look at what happened to the season 6 champion. It was very close going into turn 3. Is that Dan Kraft, I think, trying to look down the inside? Yes, it is. And they make contact, and they also take out Lee Berridge with them, and the Eclectic Motorsport car of not Ben Hackerson, it's the other one. Might be Stuart Atkinson, actually. No, John Roberts. John Roberts, the Pro-Am champion.
I tell you, the fact that the track is so wide around there really saved that from being an absolute massive one. I mean, I know 4 cars are still pretty bad, but that could have been way, way worse.
Let's have a look at what's happening back at the front then. Ross Balfour leads, 2nd Jamie Fluke, 3rd Russell Laidler, 4th Paul Smith, 5th Richard Gore, 6th Stelian Chepelevsky, 7th Scott Malcolm, 8th Michael Hall, 9th Ray Alfala, and 10th Alex Malensky. Bump drafting again down the back straight. Russell Laidler giving Ross Balfour a nice helpful push. Gets him clear of Jamie Fluke into turn 2. Ray Alfala continues to move forward. Now trying to get past the race up with the, I think that's the Automech car. Actually, no, it's a race up car. It's trying to get past Michael Hall. Their paint schemes are very alike. Into turn 1 and might be able to get past Scott Malcolm here if he gets a good run through turn 1. Just trying to work him off of turn 2 and try and get that position. Richard Gore going side by side with Paul Smith. These 2 were inseparable, Alex, in the battle for the Pro-Am Championship last season.
Yeah, still right with each other once again as Fluke looks to the inside of Balfour. Balfour was getting that little push again from Russell Laidler there, and doesn't manage to help too much. Still Fluke, I think Ross is just going to get it across the start-finish line, so another lap for him. Richard Gore having a little look maybe on Laidler this time, throws it in there right at the edge as they go into the corner, and Laidler sees him come in, just leaves enough room up the top. He'll carry the momentum round. I think they'll continue as they were, and actually out of shape for a little bit there was Gore. I don't know if he got a little tag or something from Cheppy behind him, but all of a sudden just seemed to lose the momentum going through the middle of the corner.
And now Ray Alfala's getting involved as well. He might be getting past Richard Gore here. This will put Ray up into 5th place. Ross Balfour continues to lead though. Ray Alfala getting more and more ominous. Man who won race 2, started in 21st place, already has cracked the top 5. Chepelevsky trying to get past his teammate Russell Laidler. He has. So Chepelevsky, who started in 16th, now up into 3rd place. Jamie Fluke, who started in 14th, up to 2nd, trying to get past the leader Ross Balfour, who started in 7th on the grid. Cars that started inside the top 10 that are still there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. Shows you the amount of comebacks we have here when we race at Twin Ring Motegi. The fast guys always seem to find their way to the front. Savidovic, by the way, in the pits, championship leader. All kinds of problems in this 3rd race after taking a 2nd in race 2 behind his teammate Ray Alfala. On to lap 12, approaching the halfway mark in this 3rd race of the evening.
Top 35 cars separated by 8.5 seconds as well, so I think if you want to have a charge now, you could do as well.
Yeah. 35 cars, that's so close. Off a turn 2, 3 wide. Michael Hall, Paul Smith, and in the middle, car 11, that is Simon Field. Field up through the middle. Michael Hall out of shape, gets a little bit sideways, corrects it, but will lose the place to the Alfala Tech car of Julian Janowski, who goes down the inside. Smolensky might try and get past him as well. And in front of them, we've got 3 wide for the lead, I think. Ray Alfala versus Chepelevsky versus Laidler. This is for 3rd place, actually, sorry. Into turn 1 on lap 13. Who's come out on top there? It's Russell Laidler still, but Alfala and Chepelevsky are still side by side coming off of turn 2. Down the back straight. Let's see what's going on. Jamie Fluke, 0.1 of a second, still in front, but Balfour just trying to work the Apex Racing car and try and get a win for Friction Racing.
I know the bulk of the grid here made up from road racers, and often some of them don't appreciate what we're witnessing here. But this is some of the best racing, you know, for close racing to commentate on that I think we've ever had to commentate. Last season was amazing through this race meeting here at Motegi, and we're getting exactly the same stuff again. And we talked off air and we said we want an oval series. You know, we want a Kia oval series, because wherever we go to Pocono, whenever we go to Phoenix, we see some great racing. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure the admins will love the sound of that. Hopefully, I think we'll do a good pitch for it anyway. Off of turn 4, then onto lap 15. Ross Balfour's found a way past Jamie Fluke. They're alongside, but I think he might have led the lap. No, Jamie Fluke just led it by 20 thousandths across the line. 2 by 2 then, 2 rows deep here. We've got Ross Balfour, Jamie Fluke, Stelian Chepelevsky getting very close to Ray Alfala there through turn 1. Then Chepelevsky, sorry, it was Russell Layla getting close to him. But off of turn 2 we go. They're all together. We've got 6 cars now, 3 rows of 2 by 2. And Chepelevsky's going for it down the inside of his teammate Russell Laidler into turn 3. That looks like a done deal. Yes, it does. And now he can try and get past Ray Alfala, who's now inside the top 3. So Ray Alfala, he's definitely seemed to have got the knack of this Kia Optima since he took the win in race 2. And now he's got set his sights on taking the race 3 win as well. Simon Field side by side with Russell Laidler as well, going into turn 1. Let's see what Alfala can do. He's got the outside line and trying to get past Ross Balfour, one of the bright sparks of this championship, one of the new rookies this season. And now Chepelevsky bump drafting him, and Jamie Fluke cuts across to the bottom.
Yeah, all of a sudden everybody tries to follow him and scramble behind just to make it. They're 3 wide. Alfala Tech side by side. That was Laidler and Chepelevsky there.
Here we go then. Lap 17. 8 laps to go. 4 wide, nearly. Into turn 1. Balfour gets out of it. Down the inside goes Chepelevsky. Round the outside goes Mr. Ray Alfala. Alfala, is he going to try and hold on to it on the outside? He will. Does he? Yes, just. And now look at this, 3 wide. We've got the Simpson racing car. We've got Russell Laidler and Ross Balfour, who's just been able to pull in front, edge in front almost, into turn 3. Round the outside is going to go Simon Field. A bit of contact maybe between Gore and Russell Laidler. Another Simpson racing car on the move is Alex Smolensky, and Paul Smith still in there as well. So we've got this gaggle of about 9 cars going at it for the lead. Alfala still fighting away with Stelian Chepelevsky into turn 1.
Ash Sutton up to 13th place. He's not going to get much higher than that, unfortunately, because that little group has dropped the slipstream. Julian Janowski is 1.8 seconds ahead of them. He's scrambling hard to try and hold on to the pack of this top 10. If he can just work his way back towards them, he might have an opportunity of sort of a top 5 finish. But still, this battle for the lead just rages on. Chepelevsky far more alongside Jamie Fluke than we've seen for the last 4 or 5 laps now, and Alfala's definitely trying to get in on this action as well.
Here we go then, lap 19, 6 laps to go. Fluke at the lead of this race. Ray Alfala second, Chepelevsky still third. Balfour fourth, and George Simmons and Paul Smith I think having a battle as well, and it's Simmons getting the better I think of the prime driver Paul Smith. Side by side between Gore and Smolensky off of turn 2. This is a battle over 7th and 8th. I think Smolensky's got that there. At the front though, still 2 by 2. Simon Field possibly trying to eye up, getting past Stelian Chepelevsky. Down the inside goes Alfala though on Jamie Fluke. Fluke tried to hold on for as much as he could. He led a good few laps in race 1 of course when he was fighting for David Baker. But Ray Alfala, NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series champion, back to the lead here. Lap 20 now. Under 5 laps to go. Fluke will not give up though. He's going to try around the outside of Ray Alfala. Chepelevsky on the inside of course. Racing for Alfala's team of course, the Alfala Tech team. Off of turn 2 we go then, and they're all going off to their various lines. Jamie Fluke and Simon Field trying to forge a way through on the outside, and Alfala and Chepelevsky on the inside, and they all come back together into turn 3. Pete Howard, I should say, is out of the race. Don't know what happened to him, but he's also just shot to the top of the timing screens, meaning he's now back in the pits. Whoa,
Oh.
Field's close to the outside wall there, Alex.
Yeah, I think he was caught up with Davis as well. So Those two must have had some issue, that's why they're out. But yeah, Field, he's been flirting with that wall all meeting, whether it be practice, qualifying, or the races, and once again it's just sort of killed his momentum a little bit, and he gets very, very close once again. Alfala defending the inside. It's a bit of an Alfala train down low, him leading, and he's 2 cars behind him as well.
Almost Pied Piper style here. They're all following their man, their team principal, off of turn 4 then. Lap 22 of 24. 3 laps to go. Simon Field has cracked the top 3. He was 3rd place as we came across the line. Just half a second separating the top 7. And a second covering the top 8. And there's other great stats about the gaps that we could mention. But this is the battle for the lead that we've got to focus on. 2x2 off of turn 2 again. Now it is Simon Field pushing Jamie Fluke down the back straight. Chepelevsky still pushing his team boss Ray Alfala into turn 3. And when we get to the line, there'll be 2 laps to go. Chepelevsky still on the outside. This could be the closest finish we've had all night. We've had 1/10 of a second in race 1.
Balfour into the wall.
Oh dear. Friction racing car looks like it's continuing, but he might have sustained a bit of damage that might ruin his straight line speed. 3 wide into turn 1, Alex. This is going to be very close.
Yeah, Jamie clears all of the drivers now, retakes the lead. Alfala is the meat in a sandwich there that he probably doesn't want to be.
Oof.
All of a sudden he looked like he had it covered off, and he's under an awful lot of pressure again. That's the worst place to be sometimes. There's two cars going up the inside as well. They've got no loyalties there. They're racing for the win.
And now it looks like it might be up to Chepelevsky to take the race 3 win. Ray Alfala's still not giving up. He's still in the middle there, still fighting. 1 lap to go, and he gets turned, and he's off with the other sim racer car. That is I think that was Chepelevsky. No, it wasn't Chepelevsky. It was Russell Laidler. And now Chepelevsky's got the race lead. He's got down the inside of Jamie Fluke off of turn 2. Let's see what's going to happen in this battle for the lead then. And here comes Simon Field on the outside. Field now trying to get a slipstream off Jamie Fluke, possibly into turn 3 and 4. Half a lap to go into turn 3. Round the outside, Simon Field will try and go, but I think he's just a bit too high to get anything done. Fluke will have the outside off of turn 4 though, but I think Chepelevsky might just be able to hold on. Race 30 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship will go to Stelling Chepelevsky by 1/10 of a second ahead of Jamie Fluke. Simon Field in the end got 3rd, Alex Smolensky 4th, Ross Balfour 5th, Russell Laidler after that contact with Ray Alfala got 6th, Richard Gore 7th, George Simmons 8th, Paul Smith 9th, and Julian Janowski in 10th. Well, Alex, it was a brave fight by Ray Alfala, but in the end, that gap in the middle just closed up on him, and he ended up getting taken out down the front straight.
Yeah, I'm going to see if we can just get a little replay back of what happened there as well. So, he won't mind, I'm sure. Then it was Laidler. They're all just battling out there hard, but let's see exactly what caused it. Like you say, he's been in the middle for quite a while, and it is the worst place to be in this Kia. Anybody who doesn't know the Kia, as soon as somebody touches the rear quarter panel, the car will just want to slip across, and that's what happened. He got a little nerf from Simon Field, pushed him into the Alfala Tech car, caught his rear quarter panel, around he goes. It's just a one-way ticket as soon as that happens. And it was the tiniest of little nudges, and would have been okay had the Alfala Tech car not been there. And he's got it across the line, and he's got a chance of reverse grid, so, you know, it's not over and done with for him.
Tell you what, that small slightest move to the left by Simon Field could just literally be him taking one hand off the wheel to even scratch his nose or something, and that's what... and that was the smallest of margins that sent Ray Alfala into the path of Russell Laidler and what got him turned around. He did come through in the end and get across the line. He finished in 28th place on the end and only 13 seconds behind the leaders in the end. That still shows how close this race was. 33 cars separated by 24 seconds when they came across the line. And stay with us, of course. We've got one more race to go after this, but we'll run you through the finishing order. Race 30 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. The results were like this. And the race win went to Stalin Chepelevsky in the end. A good win for him. Won on the Daytona Road Course, another oval, last season. A good win for him there. And a good win for him on the oval in the end. A great battle, of course, for him. Started 16th, of course. Jamie Fluke 2nd, Simon Field 3rd, Alex Smolenski in 4th, 5th for Ross Balfour, 6th Russell Laidler in the end, 7th Richard Gore, 8th George Simmons, 9th Paul Smith, Julian Janowski in 10th, Michael Hall 11th, Jamie Rushworth 12th from 36th, Ashley Sutton 13th from 37th. So those two race-up cars worked together and got good top 20 finishes out of it. 13th for Ash Sutton, as we said, Ben Hackerson 14th, David Baker 15th, 16th Pete Newman, 17th Scott Malcolm, 18th Kip Stevens, 19th Nathaniel Simpson, and 20th Dan Hunt. Colin Cunniff finished in 21st, 22nd Robert Graham, 23rd for Mark Johnston, 24th for Nick McCarron, 25th Liam Atkins, 26th for Craig Evans, 27th for Dan Kraft, 28th in the end was Ray Alfala, 29th Roy Ververke, 30th Jay Wright, 31st Andrew Whitehead, 32nd Stuart Atkinson, 33rd is Cesare Rizzo, where if we get drawn a full reverse grid, he will be on pole. A massive 33 cars could be reversed here. And in the cars 1 lap down or more, Pete Harrod 5 laps down, same for Nathan Davis. 17 laps down was Lee Berridge. Wojciech Sredovic 18 laps down after that crash with John Roberts. And then, as always, once again, Steve Pepper did not take the start. 33 cars though, Alex. This is going to be a very interesting proposition if a full gets drawn. Who's going to be on pole for the 4th and final race of the evening? The contenders are as follows. Pete Newman, Scott Malcolm, Kip Stevens, Nathaniel Simpson, Dan Hunt, Colin Cunniff, Rob Graham, Mark Johnston, Nick McCarron, Liam Atkins, Craig Evans, and Cesare Rizzo. So over to you, Alex.
People saying they were struggling with sound. No? It's coming through. Okay, sorry, I was worried just for a second there. Here we go, sorry. Final time for the night then. Oh, there goes the fall. That's not happening. Oh, it's going to be small, I think. 18th. Yeah, we're not going to hit 22nd. 18th it is.
Kip Stevens then gets reversed onto pole position for Sim Racer. Alongside him on the front row will be Scott Malcolm. So Malcolm, his reverse grids have put him 1st, 5th, and now he will be 2nd for race 4. Pete Newman will be 3rd, David Baker 4th, and Ben Hackerson in 5th place on the grid for the 4th and final race of the evening. Well, I think we're going to step aside once again for the final time and get ourselves ready for what is going to be another barnstormer of a race in the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Around 31 of the championship is going to be up here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV after the break.
I'm an engineer at iRacing. I put together vehicle models. Started earlier in the year with a partnership with Mazda and Long Road Racing Engineering, where they supplied us with access to the car data, access to their drivers to allow us to put together really high-level vehicle model, and it's turned out really well so far in the development stages.
These new MX-5s are incredible. Between the BF Goodrich tire and then all the suspension engineering that Long Road Racing and that Mazda has done, I've been very fortunate to be one of the lead development drivers for the new Global MX-5 Cup car. We've done a lot of R&D on not only suspension, but things that will not only improve the safety of the vehicle for racing, but also the longevity of it in a racing environment. A couple fun aspects have been for us, not only on the suspension development side, but the virtual world side with iRacing, actually mirroring some of the same, for instance, damper settings or brake pad changes that we've made for different compounds and such, and then we'll actually mirror that in iRacing. It's incredible to me how similar both when we're driving the car on the test day and then we're on the sim, that we're actually able to make changes in iRacing to the damper valving, and it correlates exactly to our findings on the racetrack.
It was quite interesting. It was sort of the first time in iRacing where we developed a car in the sim along with a manufacturer and a race team. Generally speaking, a team or a manufacturer will send us a data dump of information covering everything from tires to aero if the car is set up that way, all the mechanical bits. The big difference is those cars are generally already in production or already racing, and this go around it was essentially from scratch. When Long Road Racing received their cars, we started getting our first bits of data, and as they got more data, we got more data, and we were able to go back and forth in the sim and compare with how the car performs on the racetrack.
Me and my friends in this place gonna party.
It's time for the final race of the evening here at Twin Ring Motegi. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live and Motors TV for round 31 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. After this one, we've only got 100 more races to go, and that's how many races we had in the championship last season. So we've almost got the whole of last season still to run in this championship. Adam Bath here, along with Alex Simpson, to bring you the final race of the evening. Alex, the sun is setting. We've got only 17 cars reversed for this, 18 cars I think reversed for this final race of the evening. But that won't stop the guys, as always, working their way through the pack.
No doubt, it's going to be a great final race as well. This is normally where, you know, the elbows come out and people start getting a little bit more punchy. They'll try and work their way up a little bit further on, get as many points as they possibly can in this final race. So I think it's been pretty calm out there, I have to say, in these first three races tonight. And we've seen a couple of little crashes, but nothing major. I really think that it's really surprised me. Can't remember how many incidents they had to review from the last round. It was something like 40. It was in the 40s anyway. So, and there certainly has not been 40 incidents tonight that the admins are going to have to review. So it's been great racing all round, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what happens in this final race.
Kip Stevens will be on the pole. Unfortunately, he was one of the sim racer drivers that wasn't at the front, battling for the lead due to a bit of contact earlier on in race 2. So he had his chance to get a win on the board in race 4. Had a good start to the showdown last season, but it just really came off in the final few races. Took wins at the beginning as well, like at Okayama as well. So he is a proven winner, and of course he is a 2-time BSR TC champion. But racing on the oval completely different. Really, you're in the lead 1 second, and then after that you could be on your way down the top 10. Ray Alfalo, it looked like he was going to take the win in race 3 as well, but then just had that slightest bit of contact with Simon Field and Russell Layla coming to the white flag to start the final lap of the race, and he was off down into the wall, but did get to come across the line in 33rd place, only 12 seconds behind the rest of them. So yeah, great 3 races tonight. Race 4 will surely be the same, and it's coming up in just over a minute. So looking at the championship standings, Wojciech Savidovic leads Alex Smolenski by 85 points. Savidovic not scoring in race 3 has closed that gap somewhat. Simon Field in 3rd, Stelian Shepelevsky in 4th, Michael Shelbeck down to 5th. He started the race meeting in 2nd, now down to 5th due to him not racing here. Richard Gore 6th, Ross Balfour 7th, Jamie Rushworth 8th, 9th, Paul Smith, and 10th it is Ben Hackerson. Over in the Pram standings, Paul Smith 151 points ahead of Nick McCarron, Roy Ververke 3rd, Jay Wright 4th, Scott Malcolm in 5th. And then over in the teams championship, Apex Racing 169 points ahead of Simpson Racing, Race Up 3rd, Sim Racer 4th, Friction Racing in 5th. And you want to have a look at all these stats as well as finding driver profiles and the BSRTC calendar, head over to BritishSimRacers.com. Let's have a look at the starting grid then for the final race of the evening. Kip Stevens on pole position, 2nd Scott Malcolm, 3rd Pete Newman, 4th David Baker, 5th Ben Hackerson, 6th Ash Sutton, 7th Jamie Rushworth, 8th Michael Hall, 9th Julian Janowski, 10th it is Paul Smith, 11th George Simmons, 12th Richard Gore, 13th Russell Laidler, 14th Ross Balfour, 15th Alex Smolenski, 16th Simon Field, 17th Jamie Fluke, 18th Stelian Chapelevsky, 19th Nathaniel Simpson, and 20th it is Dan Hunt. 21st Colin Cunniff, 22nd Robert Graham, 23rd for Mark Johnston, 24th Nick McCarron, 25th for Liam Atkins, 26th Craig Evans, 27th Dan Kraft, 28th Ray Alfala, 29th Roy Ververke, 30th Jay Wright, 31st Andrew Whitehead, 32nd Stuart Atkinson, 33rd for Cesario Rizzo, 34th Pete Harrod, 35th Nathan Davis, 36th Lee Berridge, 37th championship leader Wojciech Savidovic, John Roberts 38th, and he'll be starting at the back. Oh no, he won't, because in 39th it is Steve Hefford. Hefford will finally be getting a race tonight at Twin Ring Motegi. So we've got 4 grid cars, 39. Well, Alex, we've got some big names here inside the top 10. We've got Baker, Sutton, Rushworth, Hall. They won't have to move too far forward to get near the front. And of course, we've got the guys that were at the front in race 3 fighting their way through as well. So I think this is definitely going to be probably the best race of the night.
Yeah, I'm really... They've all been great, but this one's going to be better, I'm sure of it.
Here we go then, 24 more laps. Kip Stevens at the front, Scott Malcolm in second place, Pete Newman third, David Baker fourth, Ben Hackerston in fifth. David Baker already won a race tonight, of course. Safety car's in, green flag in the air, and race 31 at the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship is underway. Simpson racing car there of Simpson already trying to go for it. Simpson, who of course was battling for the lead during the first race of the evening, already straight at it once again as well. Scott Malcolm trying to hold on to his second place, but Kip Stevens already away. Surely won't be too long there before they get that gap back down again.
Dave Baker right up there as well. He's got his teammate Ash Sutton just tucked up behind him, so I'm sure those two are going to move towards the front pretty quickly. Rushworth there as well, so the CQR guys and just the way the reverse grids have worked out quite nicely for them. They're there, and I think they've got a good chance of getting a really strong result this one.
Overline then first lap in the books. Anyone in the pits? No one really. We've all had a pretty clean first lap here. We'll see if that progresses during the rest of the race. 2 by 2 there, Ash Sutton. The race up car with the green Bozzy kit at the bottom. Trying to get past Ben Hackerson in the Eclectic Motorsports car. Michael Hall's there along with Paul Smith. Change for the lead. Pete Newman's going to get past Kip Stevens, I think. Pete Newman in that Simpson racing car then to the lead. Simpson Racing have had a good showing here tonight. Simon Fields, Nathaniel Simpson have been up there during the race, but look at that in the background. We've got 3 wide in places across the line onto lap 3. They're going to sort each other out. That's down the inside. That is George Simmons in the middle. Alex Smolensky on the outside, and then on the bottom it is Jamie Fluke. Fluke trying to fight his way through, and nearly a bit of contact there between Alex Smolensky and Ross Balfour, and the Alpha Tech car in the middle, which is number 6. I think that might be Russell Laidler. Yes, it is. So a lot of close quarter racing here.
Kip needs a good race this time out as well. He's had 2 bad races earlier on tonight, and an okay one the last one. He needs a really good strong top 5. Oh, there's a big crash further back. That's going to be nasty.
Smolensky, Balfour around. Anyone else? I can't really tell. I'm having to cycle back through and pick it all up. But 2 big names there. I think that might be...
Yeah, Chepalewski, Balfour, Smolensky and Field. So, yeah, pretty nasty one.
Chepalewski's in the pit lane.
Let's take a little look, exactly see what happened there.
Chepalewski, I think, vaulted the tyre, the concrete wall, as did Simon Field. Field landed back on the track.
The sim racer car, it was Smolensky come across. I think he was trying to get to the lower line, but there was 2 cars already to the left, and of course it ended up tagging his quarter panel, so he was the, it was all to do with him, I'm afraid. He took himself out there, if anything.
So we've had our first big crash then, taking out Stelin Chepalewski and Alex Smolensky, 2 big names that have been running at the front in these races. Stelin Chepalewski actually won race 3, of course, so not good for him there. Down the inside, Pete Newman on Kip Stevens. Chepalewski just on the bottom there, trying to get out the way of all of them. Baker down the inside of Stevens as well. Baker won race 1 right at the beginning of the evening. Had a good race 2, but race 3 wasn't too good for him. He was out of the race, I think, pretty early on. He was lower down the order, in fact. That's why he's up at the front, of course. Started 4th, benefiting from that reverse grid. Then, as we look through the field, it is Michael Hall, it's Jamie Rushworth in 4th place. 5th, Michael Hall. 6th, Ash Sutton. 7th, George Simmons. 8th, Scott Malcolm. 9th, Janowski, and then 10th, Fluke.
Just some questions being asked, and what sort of top speed do they do, But we're looking at about 254, I think Dave Baker was just doing there. So that's pretty quick.
When we were at the Nürburgring, I think down the long straight there, the Dossinger Hoa, we were doing 260 kilometres an hour, so the cars are pretty nippy.
I mean, that's 155 mile an hour they're getting to by the time they have to brake and turn in again. So, that's there's not many cars that are going to sort of do that speed. So it does surprise people actually how nippy these cars are. They they are proper racing machines, and they race against GT4s. Against like the Aston Martins and things like that. So they pack a punch. Oh, who was that out of shape?
Michael Hall, I think it was. Yeah, the yellow, the race up car somehow keeps it together. Very close to disaster then. Look, who's that going right to the bottom as we come down the straight? Very close here. It's one of the Alvarez cars.
That's Laidlaw. It'd be his fault again if... oh, someone off! I joke around and someone into the wall pretty hard. That was a massive slide. It's Paul Smith. I'm trying to cycle it back, but he's dropping down the order. Come on.
Doesn't help that everyone's so closely packed here, because yeah, you can't cycle through because we've got another 30 cars that have just shot by him in the matter of a few seconds. Oh, Laidlaw getting a bit out of shape, trying to get past Ash Sutton. Sutton, even him's been out of his comfort zone.
We're just on board with Paul. Do you know what? He just had a massive slide going in there. That again, unfortunately, was perhaps his own little mistake, and then just got collected by someone. So there's just no room to adjust. And yeah, that's race over for Paul, unfortunately.
Michael Hall going at it with George Simmons. They're closing in, of course, on the Sim Racer car of Kip Stevens, who's still trying to push Pete Newman. But as we now can see, Race Hub 1-2, and it's Baker leading Rushworth, who's out of control. Puts the car sideways and is out in the marbles, and he's going to lose a whole load of positions. He's going to fall behind Michael Hall, George Simmons, Ash Sutton, and the Alpha Tech car. I think that's Laidlaw that's got alongside him. So yeah, not a good moment there for Jamie Rushworth.
Yeah, and just to confirm as well, no cautions tonight, so it's just straight on at it, going for it, and hasn't slowed the drivers down. They've been as aggressive as anything, and we haven't seen any 3 or 4 wide in this race as of yet, but hey, we've still got 15 laps to go.
Still plenty of time. Oh, Sutton gets hit by Laidlaw. Those two were teammates, of course, a while ago in the VSR TC, and that's going to allow who's that, Rushworth on his way back through, and he forces Laidlaw out
Simmons
wide there.
Into the wall hard as well, very hard. That's killed his momentum. I don't know if he's got any damage. You can just see his right front, and must have a tiny little bit in there. He manages to get that car turned in somehow.
Off for turn 2 we go then on lap 11. Rushworth trying to go around the outside of the Eclectic Motorsports car, Ben Hackerson here. Apex Racing trying to get in the mix as well. Rushworth trying to fight his way back through, of course. Danny inside goes Ash Sutton on the car 55. That's George Simmons. And Rushworth again out of shape there, out of shape in the background. Is that Russell Laidlaw again? I think it is. Automet cars flying everywhere trying to get through. 4 wide in front of them as they come across the line. We've got Race Hub cars in the mix. We've got Collecting Motorsport. We've got Friction Racing. Almost all the top teams here represented in this battle for the lower placings inside the top 10. Sutton now leading these guys through. Michael Hall in front of him. And then Pete Newman, Kip Stevens, Baker leading them all out in front.
Yeah, Baker's been very, very strong tonight. It'll be tough for anyone to get up and get back past him as well. He's certainly doable, but he's savvy enough that he'll get back to the front pretty quickly. I think he's exactly where he wants to be right now. Pete Newman was quick in practice as well. I think he'll want to try and work his way past Kip as quickly as he possibly can.
Jimmy Fluke was up against the pit wall that time, trying to get past Ben Hackerson, which he has done. Hackerson will try and hold it around the outside, but I don't think there's going to be any way through there. Let's see if Kip Stevens can get anything done away with David Baker. These two, I think, were teammates a while ago. Might have been back in one of the earlier seasons. Danny inside goes Pete Newman on Kip Stevens. Very close that. Off a turn 2 we go.
Kip, of course, going to have the momentum and the draft off the back of the CQR car of Dave Baker, just ahead of him, and they go 3 wide into. Oh no, they don't. Kip sweeps around the outside, can't quite manage to clear Sutton. Newman's got a good run on Sutton here as well. Sutton has a little blink there for a moment, and that's internet racing for you, sim racing, and yeah, it can scare you somewhat when you're well, a few thousandths of a second behind.
Very close racing here, and the single blink could change anything and could cause a record course. Off a turn 4 then, over the line, we're going to be on to lap 15, 10 laps to go in round 4, well, race 4 of the evening, round 31 of the championship. Pete Newman down the inside, and Stevens, whoa, how did he not hit Sutton there? I think he must have, because he got pushed up the track, and now Rushworth's going to try and forge away through the middle. Hold your breath, folks, it's going to be very close. Sutton in the middle as well. Rushworth doesn't know where to go.
Round the outside of Sutton as well. He got a great run off of there. Newman having to go low, very, very low, to try and hold on to that position.
Whoa, Sutton.
All of a sudden, Sutton comes flying in there.
Oh,
and Kip
Stevens
Stevens is there as well. We're all turning. Luke's trying to hold on to it. Will he be into the pit lane? No, he won't. He survives somehow. Everybody survives. How is that possible? Baker's away. 1.2 seconds at the front.
I think thankfully we were all on the bottom of the racetrack, so all the cars just slid to the bottom and were able to get their own footing and were able to carry on, thank goodness. Otherwise we could have had a huge incident on our hands, but it's still not over. We've got 3 wide in places. Richard Gore battling away with Dan Hunt, him in that Alfa Latex car trying to fight his way through. But yeah, David Baker leads now Ash Sutton. So we've got race ups with CQR 1 and 2. Ben Hackerson now trying to take 3rd place.
Rob Graham got underneath the Simpson racing car there, just nerfs him up top. Somehow he manages to hold on to that. Great driving from Pete. All of a sudden he's just slipping down the order, looking strong. He's now in 17th place. Look at this into turn number 1. You've got Fluke, Rushworth, Sutton, 3 wide.
Yeah.
They're trying to reel in the leader. They can't do it. Sorry, that was Hall, Sutton and Fluke. Rushworth just ahead of them at the moment.
Just going to say that this all resulted this all came from Hackerson and Sutton getting together in turn 3. Oh no, the friction racing cars that pits each other. Cunniff and Kraft, they somehow survive. Thankfully this track is wide enough for you to correct the car in time before you hit the wall, especially going into turn 3. But yeah, that was a major scare there for the friction racing team. It's now a race up with CQR 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's mighty.
And when we get to the line, we'll be on lap 20. Just 4 laps to go.
Keep talking, Adam. I'm going to try and get this connected back if I can. But we're having some technical problems, so stay with it. See how quickly we can get reconnected. Quick scramble!
Race against time. We've got 4.5 laps to try and do so we can get the finish of this race in. Sutton pushing his teammate Michael Hall down the straight. He needs to watch out. Rob Graham is on his outside in that Automech car. He is clear just. Richard Gore's going to go for it down the inside. Jamie Fluke has lost a whole load of position, so it's now Richard Gore that's leading the charge for Apex Racing. Graham around the outside of Sutton. When we get to the line, there'll be 4 laps to go. Whoa, Sutton just cutting across Richard Gore. If I was Richard Gore, I don't know if I'd be happy with that. But he's now going to lose a whole load of positions, I think, Richard Gore. He's lost the momentum there. He had to get on the brakes. Off of turn 4, that's going to allow Stevens around the outside, who has his own bit of contact with Rob Graham, and now is forcing Jamie Fluke up the racetrack, and has now got an Alfa Latex guard down the inside of him. Oh, they're not going to make contact there. That is so close. Down the back straight then. 3.5 laps to go. Out front though, David Baker leads Rushworth by 2.5 seconds. Rob Graham now trying to push Ash Sutton. 2 by 2 though between Dan Kraft and car 5. That is Dan Hunt. Dan Hunt now the top Alfa Latex car. Wouldn't have predicted that. Into turn 1. 2.5 laps to go when we get onto the back straight. Richard Gore trying to force it down the inside of Rob Graham.
We're back!
We're back on air for the thrilling conclusion to this race. Whoa! Who's that out of shape? It was an Alfa Latex car. It was Russell Laidler. Colin Cunniff almost getting into him, almost giving him a quarter panel. Dan Kraft now trying to hold on from Kip Stevens going into turn 3 and 4. Penultimate lap, Alex. It's all about the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and all the way back. The two race-up cars are away. And Michael Hall just holding on to 3rd, but Robert Graham's desperately trying to get past Ash Sutton for 4th.
Right, I'm sorry, I'm totally lost where we are.
Yeah.
Over to you, Adam, for the
race. David Baker heading into turn 3 ahead of Rushworth. It looks like the race 1 winner is about to do it and take a double race win here at Twin Ring Motegi. He won here in the Pro Series last season. He's going to do it again. He wins race 4 of the night, round 31 of the iRacing British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship. Who's got 2nd? It is Jamie Rushworth. Michael Hall 3rd. Richard Gore, did he get 4th in the end? I think he did. Dan Hunt 5th. 6th for Ashley Sutton. 7th for Russell Laidler. 8th Dan Kraft. 9th Kip Stevens. And 10th in the end was Nathaniel Simpson. And I can say that from 7th down to 12th was separated by half a second. Very close there in the end. And the top 20 separated by 9 seconds. Great final race. Hope we got it all, the finish, of course, on the stream anyway, Alex. But yeah.
Well, we just got it. We missed the action for the closing laps. Oh, I'm gutted for that as well. I couldn't see what happened, so we kept disappearing and coming back. So, yeah, I don't really know what was going on there. So apologies, guys. Of course, you will be able to catch the highlights on Motors TV, although some of that won't be there as well because the sim just blinked out like massively. So, why do we have these issues?
What a shame. What a shame. What a thrilling final few laps it was, though. David Baker and Jamie Rushworth were on their way to a 1-2 for Race Up with CQR. But it was anyone's guess who was going to get the final spot on the podium, which in the end went to Michael Hall. And it's worth saying it's a fantastic achievement for Race Up with CQR race meeting. And this is why race organisers, we do need our own British Sim Racers Oval Series. The racing is so good around here. And of course, the BSRTC next week will be heading to Virginia International Raceway it'll be heading to the Indianapolis Road Circuit. So, good racing around there as well. We've seen some big crashes there as well last season. So, make sure you tune into that on Apex Racing TV live next week. Let's run you through the finishing order then. In the final race of the evening, David Baker takes the second win of the night. 1-2-3 for Race Up with Jamie Rushworth second and Michael Hall in third. Richard Gore fourth, Dan Hunt fifth, Ash Sutton in sixth, seventh. Was Russell Laidler, 8th Dan Craft, 9th Kip Stevens, and 10th was Nathaniel Simpson. Ben Hackerson finished in 11th, 12th Robert Graham, 13th Colin Cunniff, 13th Pete Newman, 15th Mark Johnston, 16th Jamie Fluke, 17th Scott Malcolm, 18th Julian Janowski, 19th George Simmons, and 20th was Steve Heppard. 21st was Liam Atkins, 22nd Nick McCarran, 23rd Craig Evans, 24th Andrew Whitehead, 25th Roy Ververke, 26th Pete Harrod, 27th Stuart Atkinson, 28th Jay Wright, 29th Cesare Rizzo, and then the cars that did not finish the race. 10 laps down was Nathan Davis in 30th, 13 laps down John Roberts 31st, and then 16 laps down we had Lee Berridge, Paul Smith in 32nd and 33rd respectively, and then 17 laps down Rael Fowler and Wojciech Savidovic. I wonder if those two had a bit of contact during the race. And then 20 laps down we had those four drivers that were involved in that crash coming off of turn 4, and Stadion Chapelevsky ended up in the pit lane, of course. Ross Balfour finished 36th, Alex Malensky 37th, Stadion Chapelevsky 38th, and then Simon Field finished in last in 39th place. Right then, time for some interviews, I think, to round off a brilliant night of racing here at Twin Ring Motegi. Let's see who we've got available for a quick chat. We have got David Baker, who absolutely loves racing around this Twin Ring Motegi, available for a quick word. David Baker joins us in the commentary box. I think, David, we can safely say that you love racing around this Twin Ring Motegi circuit. 2 wins tonight.
Yeah, I definitely seem to have clicked with this place, shall we say. Sort of had, I think, was it 2 wins in the Winter Series and sort of finished on the podium there as well. And then to get wins tonight's been absolutely fantastic. And that last race, well, for Race Up, I think that was definitely our top achievement.
It's been a difficult start to the season for you. It started off okay at Phillip Island, but you were languishing down the Drivers' Championship heading into this race meeting. Hopefully this is an opportunity to kickstart your season proper and get some podium credits on the board for this showdown, which will be on later in the season.
Yeah, it'd be nice. So you started off with a win, which was unexpected for me. And then just unfortunately got caught up in some incidents, and with the level of competition here, it's easy to find yourself then plummeting down the grid through no fault of your own, really. But yeah, it's nice to be back up the front and fighting.
Head on to Indianapolis Road next week. How do you think you'll fare around there?
Hopefully quite well. I think I've gone quite well there in the past, but as I said, the gaps between everybody here are so fine that, you miss a little bit of a corner and you can find yourself suddenly down in, 38th position or something like that. So it's always tough. The level of sort of competition here is just absolutely immense this season.
Alex, anything for Dave Baker?
No, nothing, just that you sound extremely pumped, mate. You must have had a lot of fun out there tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I say I've had some bad weeks, so this is reinvigorating me a little bit, shall we say. Hopefully it continues.
We said that at the start of the broadcast as well. It's just what you needed. So awesome. Yeah, go and enjoy that, mate.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank the whole team at CQR Race Hub. We've had a good week this week. Makes a change.
Yeah, fantastic job. 1, 2, 3, of course, in the final race, and 2 wins for you as well. David Baker, thanks for talking to us. We'll see you at Indianapolis next week.
Yeah, take care, guys. I'll see you around.
He sounds very happy indeed there, David Baker, and rightfully so. 2 race wins and a 1, 2, 3 for the Race Up with CQR team. Right, so who should we get in next, Alex? Let's have a look. I think we'll get in. We'll get in Paul Smith. Of course, doesn't usually like racing around the oval.
Right, we're muted for a second, but we can do a close here.
Okay. I did like a goodbye thing on the mumble on the.
I got booted.
What's
Both
that?
my PCs got booted from Mumble. So, okay. Go on. We can switch it back. We can do an intro.
No, are we just doing like a?
We're not muted actually. So, hey, welcome back. What a disaster the close has been. Right, sorry, Adam. Go on, give us your closing thoughts then on that, just so we can wrap up the stream. I don't really know what's going on with Mumble. We're back in TeamSpeak. We managed to be working on there, so yeah, all craziness is going on. Good final race. You got to see all the action.
Yeah, I can say it was a great battle for the lead. In the end, Rushworth and Baker were able to break away, and then it was all over who was going to get that final spot on the podium. Michael Hall was able to do it in the end, to get a 1-2-3 for Race Hub. And then we had that battle between Sutton, Rob Graham, who in the end dropped down the order, and Richard Gore and the likes coming through to get those results in the end. So fantastic race meeting. Twin Ring Motegi never fails to disappoint, does it? We'll be back, though, next week at Indianapolis. Richard Gore in the end got the 4th place, Dan Hunt 5th, Sutton 6th, 7th, Russell Laidler.
Have we got any standings update? I don't suppose they are they? Because
I can have a look.
Your own not kicking around.
I did run through them, but they were just the ones that were as they were going into the 4th and final race. They have been updated. We can run you through them now before we say goodnight. Wojciech Savidovic leads Alex Malensky by 85 points. Simon Field 3rd. Stelian Chepelevsky 4th. And 5th is Michael Scharbach. Richard Gore 6th. Jamie Rushworth 7th. Ben Hackerson 8th. Ross Balfour 9th. And Colin Cunniff in 10th. Pro-Am standings. Paul Smith, Nick McCarron, 81 points between those two. Rover Verke 3rd. Jay Wright 4th. Scott Malcolm in 5th. Finally, the team's championship. Apex Racing in the lead. 184 points of new 2nd place team. Race Up with CQR. That 1-2-3 has done their team's championship wonders. In fact, this whole race meeting has done it wonders, of course, because we had David Baker take 2 race wins and now 1-2-3 in race 4, plus Ash Sutton up in 6th as well. So we had all of the team represented and a great race for them. And then we'll just quickly look at the safest driver. Ashley Blake Hood still leads that. Sakovic in 2nd, Roy Verke 3rd, Nathaniel Simpson 4th, Jamie Fluke in 5th. Well, Alex, next week then, Indianapolis Road. We saw some big crashes there from the last time we were there in the Pro Series. We had a start line crash which caused a complete track blockage. And then once we got to the restart, we had a huge crash coming off the banking onto the front straight where I think Kip Stevens got into the wall and was literally sent flying there.
Yeah, sorry, Adam. I'm still way too distracted with everything that's going on here at the moment. So,
shall we just round this? Let's just
wrap it up. I already did an exit and all sorts of stuff again. So let's just do that again.
Yeah, and on that bombshell, I think we can safely say we'll run away. I think. Thanks for watching us here on Apex Racing TV, iRacing Live, and Motors TV. 4 great races then at Twin Ring Motegi. Next week, Indianapolis, rounds 32 to 35. Who will be on top there as the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship continues? Well, thanks to Alex for all the stuff he's done tonight, trying to get the stream back on and then it coming off again. I'm sure we'll be back with less technical difficulties next week at Indianapolis. So, thank you for watching. We'll see you at Indianapolis next week. Good night.